Hey, good evening, everybody. It has been one hell of a busy week, but it's nice to be here. This is like the end of the week for me. Why is this darn thing not focusing right? I hate when it does that. Anyway, as you know, we had a huge get together here at Cafe HQ on Saturday, and lots of people in town. It was a very fun event. We've got some video clips and some photographs to show you guys in a little bit. I've got a weekly flip to show off today. I've also got a calf cribs video. I've got some stuff to show off from the Frazetta pop-up that was in Orlando that I got to go to last Thursday, which was why we cut the show short. And outside of that, it's going to be a long show tonight. We've got a lot of art to look at and a lot of other fun things to do. But we're going to kind of get things off with something that we don't normally do. I've got some guests to have on at the beginning of this thing, and I was contacted by George Hodge not too long ago. He's got something special brewing here. And so I've got George and a few special guests to bring in here. So let's get George, Matthew Allison, and Aaron Connolly. Hey, guys.
There he is.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going very well. Nice to see you again, Matt.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, we were kicking this thing around. And, I wanted to start things off with the clip, but when do you want me to show the video? Can I show it now and then we talk about it, or what would you like to do? All right, let me show this thing off here because this is a little precursor to what you guys are working on. And let me swing this like that. And
together again for the first time. Cankor. Jackal Radio. Sabertooth Swordsman. Battle for the fate of the world with this limited edition 7-inch vinyl record. One record, 2 sides, 4 tracks. Jackal Radio. Their music rips with the power of fire and thunder. Jackal Radio and B-sides from Doom Punk. And mini comic and poster. Get some. Available while supplies last.
there you go. Awesome. Good work on that one, George.
Yeah, you did great.
That's me talking.
Nope. Yeah, the art's awesome. Aaron's narration, man.
Oh, that was you, Aaron?
Yeah,
A little bit of
a little bit of tweaking by George, I think.
Well, George has all the skills to do that sort of thing. So tell me a bit about this thing. I know you guys have kind of known each other for a while, but so what kind of brought about this very unique project with the three of you?
I think this started with. I'll take over here first at the start. I think this started with a buddy of mine had gotten some postcards printed that were basically like art on the front, and when you flipped it over, you could send it to people, and there'd be like a little record to listen to. And I thought it was really, really cool, so I hit George up about it, about just doing it with Sabertooth Swordsman, about just doing that thing, and because George had already done a Sabertooth Swordsman song with this band Doom Punks, and I hadn't actually listened to the postcard when I brought up this whole idea. And then one day I finally listened to the postcard and it sounded absolutely terrible. So I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't a great idea. And I think I sat back on it for a while. And then George finally came back with the idea of actually, I think, doing like a real 7-inch. And that has always been one of my favorite art buddies and one of my favorite artists of all time. And I've been nagging him to do a team up with Sabertooth Swordsman and Cankor for years. And we kind of roped Matt in. And at that point, it was a chance for us to do something just kind of ridiculous and fun. And that harkens back to like the old, like, comic book records and comic things, and like I said, it gave me and Matt a chance to team up on something, it didn't take too much time out of our schedules, but we're able to finally sort of team up our characters for the first time and do a really awesome art collaboration, which was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my absolute entire life, you know?
And I just wanted to hang out with Aaron and Matt, so it was a perfect excuse for that.
Yeah, it all just came together perfectly. And I, one of my favorite memories as a kid was I had, the Power records. I had a Batman record. It was on a 45, and you do the read along story. So this isn't quite that because you don't get the dialogue and everything, but you could, read our story while you're listening to the music. So it's about as close as you can get.
And if I can share, we did a prototype with the test pressing. So this is the test press vinyl, the 7-inch, and then printed out a mock-up. So this is one side with the Cankor song on it, and then the other side with the Sabertooth Swordsman song. And to note, there's a fold-out comic that folds out into a poster that is the coolest collaboration, I think. Yeah,
which I have. Yeah. So we got the whole deal here. We got the story inside. I won't give you too much of that, but then you get the 13 by 13 poster. You can frame or hang on your wall or put back in your sleeve and keep it in mint condition.
And that is awesome. I mean, I love creative projects like that where you're not just focused on one thing. You've got so many things going on. You got the music. You've got you guys combining for a comic that's totally unique. I mean, it's always great to see group projects like this get done, because in comics, we don't really get anything like this typically. But I mean, it harkens back to my art school days when I wanted to work with friends on a single project, and try to tie in a guy who could actually do some music and maybe somebody who can do an installation or something like that. But this is awesome. I love it. I'd like to see more of this kind of thing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I felt this. I felt exactly the same way. And I think right around the time that me and George were originally talking about this, my wife had suddenly been listening to that like classic Spider-Man record. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah.
That like whole record that has like songs about like Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus, and like it's such a crazy thing, but like so amazingly weird at the same time. And I just thought, man, if we can just chime into that by even 10%, we'll have done something cool,
Sure. Yep.
Definitely. Now, I just shared in the chat the Crowdundr link, and it is in the show description as well, so anybody can head over there. But you guys actually have some art options in the Crowdundr as well. Is that true?
They're almost gone, by the way.
We better get in there and do it, because wasn't one of them a combined jam piece with the two of you?
Yes, that's right.
That sounds pretty. How do you decide who draws first?
Ooh, we haven't talked about that.
Well, actually, Aaron's going to put
kind of idea here, right?
Aaron's going to put grayscales on at the end, so he's got to do his part last. So
Okay.
I'll be doing the Cankor part, doing all the wires and crazy stuff, and then I'll mail those off to him.
Sweet. Well, they're very affordable. So everybody who, if you click on the link that I put out there, definitely check it out, because they're at a very fair price, and it's going to be something very, very unique. So I would encourage.
Yeah, you couldn't get that through us if you went through our art dealer. So this is definitely something to snag up quick.
Yeah,
and we like Felix and Cam, by the way. But yeah, this is a unique opportunity. Seriously, I mean, you guys want to put some art love out there, and I mean, this is incredible. It really is. I was very into this the moment I saw it. But yeah, for those of you who are just tuning in, definitely click the link to go over to the Crowdundr, because you'll get the whole scoop on this. And you sent me some slides and some art that you guys had been working on to kind of pull together that I guess the cover to it, or the inside of it, right? The comic book.
Yeah, this is the first page of the comic. Yep.
But Bill, I thought it was great to show how unique this process was between Aaron and Matt. And it is truly a collaborative effort between those two guys on this comic.
Now, how do you guys do it? You just kind of send ideas back and forth to one another when you're putting it together?
Pretty much, yeah. I mapped out an outline of what I thought the story would be, and we got Damon involved, Damon Gentry, the co-creator of Sabertooth, just to get his approval on everything, and he was cool with the way we merged the two characters together. And it was interesting to do something that short, because I put out a 216 page graphic novel, and I've never really done just a 3-pager like this, especially including somebody else's character, because all of my stuff is just in my own head. So I had to really think about, like, well, what is Sabertooth like? How would he interact with Cankor? What are the differences between the two characters? Because Cankor is very much a bungler, as you'll find out in the story. So the one time he does get help, he screws it up as usual. So
Aranga wanted to know if George's sexiness ever threatened to derail this project. Leave it to Aranga to definitely ask the hard-hitting questions from our audience.
Yeah, we were unable to have meetings like this. This is actually the first time I've ever seen George. So we had to get together with no video, just audio.
Mm-hmm. So George, how did you work the music into the story? I mean, how did that kind of evolve? I mean, did you get to see the story first? Was the music part of? Did it influence the story at all?
Not with the direct 3-page story. I mean, these guys' books, the Sabertooth Swordsman book and the Cankor books, definitely influenced the songs that we created. And as Aaron mentioned, I have a side alter ego band called Doom Punks that's like Saturday morning cartoons, a la Ramones, Spider-Man group that did some songs. We did a Sabertooth song, we did a Cankor song, and then that kind of evolved into, well, let's get Jack the Radio to do some songs as well, and created 2 brand new songs directly inspired by the comics for this record.
Yeah,
and actually, if I can plug, the Sabertooth song is called The Swordsman, will be out streaming next Friday. So you can get an early listen before you get the vinyl.
Very cool. You'll have to share it with me so I can at least clue everybody into where they can listen to it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, but again, guys, this thing is awesome. I can't wait to see it. Matt, I did remember I ordered that Cankor crate from you after we did the interview, and it was awesome. I loved every minute of it.
Thank you so much.
I love books like that, and it was fantastic.
I'm glad you did it. Thank you.
Last year for sure.
Cool.
So, and the sketch was great on the inside too.
Oh, awesome. Excellent.
So Aaron, I'll get something from you sometime.
Oh yeah, man. Just hit me with your
well, now we're close to Orlando. We can,
I know.
We should definitely.
Yeah.
I went down to that Central Florida show a couple weeks ago, but not too many artists at that one though.
No, and it's funny because a buddy of mine from LA was at that show. A writer, Aubrey Sitterson, was at that show, and I was like, "What? They brought you in? They didn't even invite me in. I live in the town."
And you're right in the city. I expected to see you there.
I know, but I just, I don't know. Apparently, the person who runs the thing doesn't even live in Lakeland, so that's no hard feelings taken. I was actually busy that weekend anyway, so everything's all good. Awesome. Maybe next year.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But so here's the actual crowdfunder page. So you guys have already met your goal. That's great. You got just under 2 weeks left to go on it, and 121 backers on the project too. So, I've actually never used crowdfunder before, but it seems similar to most of the other platforms. So you can just kind of pick and choose which things you'd like. You got a T-shirt in there, sticker options, and you know what? I actually forgot. I don't want to forget this. That George offered to do a giveaway. Everybody. Oh, I have to give a what? Enter. Your viewers must type in the chat. Enter giveaway trigger. That's weird. Let's see here. Let me start this again. George wanted to give away some stickers here, so I want to make that possible as well. But I got to actually type this in.
Yeah, Bill, we got the stickers in a little early, so I thought it'd be fun to give away 1 or 2 sets tonight if people are interested.
Cool. Now it'll make an announcement in the chat, I believe. So you just have to type !enter to be entered into the giveaway for these stickers. Yeah, let me highlight you so that you can show them off.
See, not doing this well. There we go.
Yeah, it takes.
I mean, look at this sticker. Look at how crazy cool Aaron's work is, and Matt's work, and their combined work.
Oh man.
And then a Jack the Radio sticker in for good measure.
Now, how many? Did you have one set, or how many sets of these do you have?
I got 2 sets handy, so if we want to do 2, if people are interested, that'd be great. And I'm happy to mail them after the show.
All right. Well, we definitely have we got 23 people entered so far. So I'll just keep. Oh, look at Tyler Turner just contributed. I think he's going for that.
Oh wow!
Higher tiers. Congrats.
Wow, thank you,
for
Tyler.
for doing that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
exciting.
Yeah. Well, it's a super rare opportunity to have you both be able to be drawing on the same page. That's what size was that? I know it was listed on the. Let's see, where was that?
It's got to fit in the 7-inch package, so something like that.
Got
right?
it.
Well, for those, we're going to do the 12-inch packages, so it's 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
8.5 by 11. Got it. So you got that as an option with the 2 of them, and then you've got these single options if you'd like to do either of those as well. And everything goes to making sure this project sees a proper fruition, which we all want to see, of course.
Yeah, and we were just discussing too about the possibility of doing a signing at an upcoming show. We're all going to try to make it to Heroes this year if possible.
Oh, good.
And so that's something that we might be able to do for anybody who doesn't get in on this. But these are pretty limited. We're only doing 500 of the records through the crowdfunder. So.
And a couple of the things, Matt, it's probably worth noting, like these sketch options, the T-shirts, they are exclusive to the crowdfunder.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't have things like that. I mean, you guys will probably sketch again in the future, but
Yeah.
this is your opportunity now if you want one.
Never again after this. It's that rare.
We've all peaked. This is it for us.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm working on a new project that has nothing to do with Cankor, so it'll be nice to take a little break from that guy for a while, get him out of my head. So
Can't talk about it yet.
No, it's I think I talked about it a little bit on the last video I was on. It's a horror comic, something completely different from Cankor. Going to be black and white. Has to do with Frederick Wortham and underground comics and a lot of good stuff. So
Cool. Very cool. Well,
Go ahead. Sorry.
Heroes is definitely the show that you guys want to go to. That's the one where all the collectors are at. George puts on a wonderful kickoff party that I get to tag along to typically. So we'll be doing that again this year on Thursday evening, although we don't have any details for anybody yet. So
I'm going to try and get Matt and Aaron out there if we can make it happen too.
that would be great. Yeah, it was a good time. Definitely a good time. So everybody, if you want to get your chance to get a set of stickers, you better type ! enter in the next minute, and then we'll draw the 2 winners. And George will fulfill it. Okay, let me switch this around here. But yeah, we've got that. Okay, cool. But anything else you want to cover before this? I mean, what's the expected fulfillment on this project as far as the date?
So we've got a lot of stuff already in progress. We're expecting to have the vinyl in hand late April, maybe as soon as early May. I think the sketches might be a little bit later. I think we said June.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think probably May, June time, we should have everything in hand. Possibly earlier. We'll see how fulfillment goes. You never know these days with shipping.
And what's the last date of the Kickstarter? Just the end of the month?
Yeah, I think it's March 1st. So we've got like 13 days, something like that left.
Mm.
Correct. Yeah, 13. Actually, March 2nd at 3 a.m. in the morning. So it might as well be midnight on March 1st. So, and yeah, you're up over 6,000. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to back this too. I want to get this thing. I want to see how it turns out.
Right on.
Oh, Bill, you're the
Thank
best, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like I say, I love projects like this. This is great. So let's see. Why don't we go ahead and draw the 2 winners of these stickers here? We've got, what do we got? 39 people entered into this. So I will go ahead and draw first winner right now. And it's Jason Harris. Congratulations to Jason. And the second, well, we've got a few other people entering really quick here to try to get on that second opportunity. Let's, yeah, see, everybody's trying. All right, here we go. Second one goes to Dino. Congratulations, Dino.
All right.
Fantastic. Jason Harris. Dino.
Congrats, Dino.
If what's the best way to get? Well, you can either email me. Everybody knows my email address, bill@comicardfans.com. Or George, do you want to give your email address
Yeah,
out?
I was going to say jacktheradio@gmail.com also works.
There you go, jacktheradio@gmail.com, and hit him up, and he'll include your mailing address, Jason and Dino, and they will he'll get those out to you ASAP. But all right, guys, well, this was fun. I do appreciate it, and
Thank you, Bill.
You know, I hope to have all of you on it, and some other time, in the future, because
Anytime.
we've really never gotten a chance to talk before. And George, we seem to only talk once a year. Same thing with you. We've got to make this a little bit more frequent.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm happy to get you a book over, Bill, and we could chat about that or whatever you want to chat about. I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah. I've got who do I got on a Monday? I've got Tony Fleeks coming on to talk about the current project that he's working on. So I love chatting with creators. So anytime either of you have any projects going on that you might want some time on the show, I'd love to have you guys on to talk about them.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's really generous of you. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Bill, you're awesome. Aaron, Matt, thank you guys for joining too, man.
Thank you. Everybody have a good night.
Guys. Thanks for listening to us chat.
Appreciate it.
You guys. Oh man, that was awesome, wasn't it? So we need to do more of that kind of stuff on the show. I used to have guests a lot when we kicked the show off back in the old days before it came a running long monologue, I think, of me talking about different things going on with CAF. But that's awesome. It's good to see George again. And of course, Matt and Aaron as well. So if they can be at Heroes, that'd be awesome. Obviously, most of us are going to be there as well. And it's always a good time. So and George and I have been talking about the Thursday prior to Heroes with the kickoff event. And I think, hopefully probably within a month or two, we'll have some more firm details for you, but there definitely will be some form of kickoff event. And, something I haven't done yet, but I would encourage everybody else to start thinking about it, make those hotel reservations, because you definitely want to be in the main hotel if you can help it. So start the Heroes countdown, says Tyler D. Absolutely, Tyler. That is the show of the year every year, I think. So I am looking forward to that one. Let's see. I really have a long list of things to go through today. So it is going to be a long show tonight. I can guarantee you that. But as everybody knows, I cut last week's show short because I went to see that Frazetta pop-up show it was actually at a bar in downtown Orlando. Maureen and I went. And we didn't even take any pictures of ourselves. We should have, but it was interesting. It was, it was actually, they rented the entire bar for the evening prior to us getting there, because, we had VIP access after the main events, where they had like hour-long sessions where people could come in and look at the art. I think it started at like 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9. And then we were able to come in at the 9 to 10 o'clock hour. And we had to pick up Berkey at the airport anyway, so it sort of worked out fine because he was coming in after 11. But so the show was good. It was, I was hoping to see it wasn't exactly what I expected, because it wasn't Frank's daughter. That I knew it was Frank's granddaughter, Sarah, that was going to be at the show. But the art that was brought was artwork that she owned, but also from a collector who's in the Orlando area, pieces that he had. So none of like the primary pieces that are at the Frazetta gallery that is in around Sarasota, that those pieces were not there. Probably wise, value wise and everything. But the pieces that the collector brought, whose name is, I didn't get a last name. I introduced myself, and he knew who I was. His name was Ken. But I didn't get any more particulars, out of him other than that. He doesn't. I think he has a CAF count, does not have a CAF gallery. But he said that what he showed during the Frazetta exhibit was probably about a third of the Frazetta pieces he owned. So they were all spectacular, the pieces that he brought. And a couple of them I had not seen before. One of the pieces was from that Women of Ages portfolio. So fantastic. Okay. Oh, Kaz was telling me the museum's in Boca Grande. well, you would know, Kazra. But yeah, we're going there for that Pratt exhibit in March. Jason, you can either email me and I'll get it over to I'll get it over to the guys as far as getting the stickers to you, bill@comicartfans.com, or you can email, wasn't it jacktheradio@gmail.com, and you will get them straight from George Hodge himself. So either way, we'll get you in touch with them. But congrats, Jason, on getting those. So, oh man, but anyway, so yes, very interesting stuff. And yes, on the 12th, I actually have that updated on our schedule. So yeah, there's a lot of different people who own different children, but the Sarah's mom owns the artwork that is at the gallery in Boca Grande, Florida. So those were the artworks that were not there. But I'll play this quick video. It's about a minute and a half, and you can see the pieces that were there. And I should have taken a lot more stuff because there were quite a few people at the event. They had a few other side things going on. There was a new Frazetta book that was available. I did not pick that up. And they had some, but it was great. They served food. I mean, it was a really nice get together. So I got to meet Sarah. I never met her before. I get to meet a couple of the collectors who were there, who are on CAF. And again, it was a really good time. So I hope to do more of those things in the future now that I'm down here in Orlando. So here is that quick video. So there you have it. So not a lot. I think there were about 16 pieces in total. Was it Ken Chad? I actually, no last names were given, so I couldn't tell you if that was his last name or not. He was 40-something, very striking man, and clearly good taste in art. So it was a really, really nice thing to see, and cool to talk to him a bit about his collection. Because the one piece that stood out to me that I'd never seen before was that piece that was more like an illustration with the woman in front of the green kind of Bollywood-ish machinery. And I'd never seen that before, and it was actually the piece that Maureen liked the most as well. I don't know why. I'm gonna have to fix that light in Wolverine. He keeps blinking back there. But anyway, so this piece, I said, what's the story on it? Where did it come from? And he said that, and I know it wasn't DuPont, but he said a large chemical company actually hired Frazetta, at some point after his stroke, to do a series of illustrations for some user manuals, or not manual, but some kind of employee handbooks, right? And this was apparently owned by the CEO after this work was done. And so Ken was the first person to buy it. And that's why it's actually never seen print. I think it was actually going to be printed in the book, or is printed in this new book that they have out now. But it was gorgeous. And it's cool to think about artwork like that a company hires Frazetta to do that, and then no one's ever seen it before. I mean, it was really unique. And one thing I never knew, and probably everybody in the audience is gonna be like, duh, how could you not know that, Bill? But I didn't know that. I guess Frazetta was a lefty, right? So typically pre-stroke, if it's signed in the lower left, that means it was pre-stroke, and if it was signed in the lower right, it's post-stroke because of how he had to switch hands and everything. So it's like the piece that I thought was pretty cool was signed in the lower right. Most of the other pieces were signed in the lower left, but did not know that, but now I do. So one of the factoids that I got from being there. But again, really good. It was nice to meet Sarah, and like I say, she said she was looking forward to having myself and Kazra and a few other collectors come out to the Pratt exhibit in March. And yeah, that was the Gauntlet poster was very, very cool. And there you go. Matt says Jack Davis did a bunch of artwork for the USPS that has never seen the light of day outside of dispatch garages. Right. I mean, that's just so damn cool, man. And to think that there's a lot of undiscovered artwork out there like that maybe we'll get to see one day. But the best piece to me was either the Indian piece was fantastic. I mean, to see a painting like that, but I really liked seeing the women of ages plate artwork. It was stunning. It was really, really gorgeous. And I think that's probably the first plate I've seen in person from any of the Frazetta portfolios. So definitely just for that one piece alone, very much worth the trip into Orlando that evening. Now, of course, so Berkey flew in on Thursday, and last Friday we hung out a little bit. We went out to eat and things, and so it was a very fun day. Friday evening, several guys made it into town, flew in, and there many of you are in the chat tonight. I know that Aranga is not the best driver in the world. Apparently, I did not put anything about Aranga's escapades in the video. But my neighbors are talking about him, and will probably be talking about him for the next year or two, because that evening on Friday it was I think it was cold, and it was warm in the day, and then it was cold at night, so it was very, very foggy. And they got to my house probably around 10 p.m. And when they were leaving, they GPS isn't very speedy around here. So and the name of my road is Thomas Boat Landing Road, and it's really because there's a boat landing about 3/4 of a mile south of here. And of course, where they needed to go was north. But when they pulled out, they went south down the road. Aranga was driving, Larry and Mikhail, and going about 60, and they ended up in the water. Now, it would have been a terrible story. Bill Cox, owner of Comic Art Fans, has first OA get together, and all artwork destroyed from these three collectors. But fortunately for Aranga, the brakes didn't lock up. He only went in up to the top of the tires, I think, and managed to back his way out. I meant today to drive down to the end of the road to see if there were skid marks going right into the water, so I could take a photo of it and add it to the video. But I did run out of time. I didn't get to go down there. But yeah, next time you see Aranga, ask him if he's still got his driver's license. But yes, he's the talk of the town in Umatilla, Florida, Aranga. But anyways, that was I couldn't believe it, but it was pretty foggy that day. That's the problem. It literally just goes straight into the water. The road straight. At night, foggy. You go Aranga acting like, oh boy. Yeah. I guess Aranga's not here. Yeah, Aquaman. Exactly, Octavio. Was it an episode of The Office? I don't know, but Aranga's never going to live it down. I can only picture the looks on Larry and Mikhail's face as they hit the water. Fortunately, the airbags did not go off either. So thank goodness everybody was safe. The art was safe. And they did manage to turn around and get back to where they were going that evening. So I have a video clip for the entire weekend. So a little bit before the event, plenty during the event, and then some of the guys who actually stayed at an Airbnb. So we decided to, or they were putting on a little Super Bowl party for those people who were still in town. So Mike and I joined them. So you'll see pretty much all of that, everything from Thursday afternoon until Saturday evening. So here you go. This is what you've been waiting for. And of course, guest appearances by the amazing Bill Morrison. He came with Ken from 4C. And the surprise guest of the day, he was there for the last few hours of the show, was Adam Kubert. And I always knew he was in Orlando, but Rob Gomez was pals with him, and they were out the night before. and Rob suggested, hey, would you like to come to this thing with me? Or, and it was, Adam was like, do you think they really want me to come over? I mean, he wasn't bringing art for sale. He was like, but he was actually interested in coming out. He wanted to hang out with collectors, but he was concerned that we might not want him there. So Rob assured him that we would be very happy to have him at our get together. And fortunately, he came out and really, somebody described it as, the whole afternoon was fireworks, and having him come out was the grand finale, because he brought a lot of originals with him. And as you'll see, he's working in a very, very, very large format, about 22 by 30. So, like practically poster size, larger than double, than a twice up page. So very, very cool. And he's doing it because he feels he can put a lot more detail in it. And clearly he can, working at that size. So here is the video from last weekend. Hey, wow, and I'm way out of focus. This camera. I think it's time for a new camera purchase. What do you guys think? Come on, there it goes. Man, this thing just autofocuses all the time, even though I tell it not to. Larry worth at least 10 Bitcoin. Yeah, I saw that photo, and all I could think of was those sleepy apes. So, yeah, but a good time was definitely had by all. It was really it was so much fun. You know, I'm just can't tell you how happy I was to have everybody out there. I met a lot of my new neighbor collectors in Florida, which was great, and yeah, it was, and pretty much everybody brought art. There was a lot. I didn't get to look at hardly any of it, unfortunately, but everybody else did, and they had a great time. I got the rare opportunity to actually show off some pieces from my collection, which was fun. And it's always enjoyable to kind of throw your portfolio out there and be able to talk about stuff in your collection. It just reminds me of the weekly flips and why they're so much fun. But nothing beats that opportunity of just being able to talk about the pieces you love and show them off to other people at the same time. So lots of comments in there while that thing was rolling. It is a Mario pinball machine. It is pretty cool. It's one of those half-length ones. Very nice. Kids love it. Chris said it was the greatest living Qbert, and Jason agreed. And there is lots of wall space in there, Marcus. But yeah, so it's a good time, and we'll definitely do these again. I'm sure I'll probably consider doing them like every 6 months just to see. Was there any Cosmic Odyssey? I don't believe there was any Cosmic Odyssey, but I know Anthony bought quite a bit of art while he was there. Mike sold a few pieces while he was there. I don't know what else might have transpired. But all in all, there were a lot of dudes that go hard on the dumbbells. James has got the guns. That is for certain. What else we got? Can we get an NFT for that Sleepy Larry? Yeah, well, we might have to get permission from Larry before we do that. But yeah, that was too good. What am I going to say? But again, we'll do it again sometime. But again, thanks for everybody who did make it out there. And after everybody heard that we did it, even though I was talking about it for so long, there's a lot of people who are in the Orlando area who told me they would have loved to have come up had they known. So hopefully, when we do another one of these, we'll have a lot more people show up. And it was actually pretty good. I believe there were 28 guests in all, plus my family there. And so you saw my son flipping burgers. He was our designated cook of the night. I bought, Peter, I actually bought those X-Men bar stools because I thought Jason D'Ambrosio was coming to the house. And I was like, Jason's got to have the best seats in the house. And so I bought 4 bar stools with the Uncanny X-Men on them. And then Jason didn't come out. But now I've got these great bar stools for whenever he does come out. So, but as an X-Men fan, I guess they kind of go with the decor anyway. So moving right along, though, I've got so many other things that we must talk about. A few kind of let's see what else was the easiest thing to do. Actually, Sal Avenatti asked me to remind everybody, if you haven't seen the PR announcements going out about the CGC signing stuff that Alex Ross is doing with them. Apparently, I can attest to this. I don't believe he does these things too often, and so he's doing them. I think they're taking items in to be signed now, maybe through mid-March or so. I think that's the case. But I have like a minute-long video clip I can share with everybody to see what's going on there. They're doing some special label stuff and everything. So for you Alex Ross fans, it's definitely a good opportunity if you wanted to get something CGC Venom.
Hi, I'm Alex Ross, and I'm doing my first CGC signing this year. It will be the exclusive way to get my signature, and submissions are limited, so please send in your books now.
There you have it. So you've got that. You can actually go over to the Alex Ross website and get more details on that. But and I know we have it in the CAF news and everything too. So for those of you who have things to be signed, there's the place to do it. And hit up Sal Avenatti if you have any questions. Hey, David, you are moving on up. I saw some pics of David with his child today. Awesome looking kid there, David. And yeah, you're level 10, man. Look at that. Anthony, I guess just saw the video where he beat James arm wrestling. I thought that was staged. I didn't think that was a real arm wrestling match, but only James will be able to confirm that, I think. So, so outside of that, I actually was going to switch over something. James and I were just texting on Facebook. Originally, we were going to do and try to squeeze in a poll for everybody to tell us what we should do for the sketchbook in March, but we're going to hold off and do that next week. And there was also something I was going to do with Jeff Wedding tonight that we're going to push off to next week too. He has another one of those Infected by Art books to give away. And, you know, and so we're going to do that next week too. And it'd actually be kind of cool because the jury and all that stuff got completed on Infected by Art. So it'd be kind of cool to show everybody which pieces got juried in or got awards in this year's Infected by Art competition. So we'll do all of that next week, the thing with James and with Jeff, and talk a little bit about my side project as well. So yeah, I know Knights of Old, but that's well, CGC's been, you know, they started doing that in very aggressively once the pandemic came around, and now it's just a big thing, right? I mean, everybody's doing it. Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading through the chat a little bit, but no, hey David, I'm surprised but thankful that you're actually able to catch everything on the replay, because being a new father, I can only imagine what that's like. I've had 3, but my youngest is 18, so it's been a very long time since that happened. Anthony's comic book art, no Bushby. Oh man, but all right. So other than that, I've got, you know, one other thing we can talk about, of course, is I have that Kickstarter going on, and you know, I hate to always be throwing marketing stuff at you, but this is just one more week of talking about the Kickstarter that, of course, is for the Dueling Dealers 100th anniversary. I think, what are we up to now? 42 backers on that, and with 6 days to go, it'll end. It actually ends Wednesday night, right around the time the show will end. The next Dueling Dealers episode will end right around 11 o'clock at night. So you got 6 more days to back it. And, you know, I never ask for anything, guys, but, you know, it's this is for a good cause. It's going to put some books out there in your hands. And, you know, Nick Barucci has done a lot of work to help pull this together for me. Ken Hazer did the fantastic work on the covers. There's art options in the pledge levels. And you can get a sketch cover done by Sharon. And, you know, and Ken too. Ken's got some options in there as well. So the links for that are in the description of the show. But yeah, keep that in mind. We got 1 more week left on there, and we would love to have your support on this project before it closes. So see, I can scratch that off my list now too. So you know, Marcus sent me a pic about a week ago. Yeah, not that kind of pic, guys. This is actually a pic. He was at I forget which show now. Unfortunately, I think it was East Bay, maybe. But look at this. There's a lot of familiar faces around this table. Of course, you got Derek over there on the left, and then you've got Marcus with his Moidoc shirt on. My Moidoc shirt too. Look at that. I don't think I've actually seen one of those in the flesh yet, so that looks really nice. Thank you for picking one of those up, Marcus. There's Ian Saint, Felix Liu, Kevin Sharp. I know that's Tariq TMD1, and I know one of these guys is Mark V, but I don't know who. So one of them I don't know, but Marcus can tell us which is which and who the last person is. But I guess this was at a recent show, and I think that they agreed that they were going to do a meetup after one of the next Bashara show that's on the West Coast, which I think is in March. So anybody going to that show, look up Marcus, and he'll tell you where you guys are going to go out for a burger after that one. He's an organizer, as you can see, rallying the comic art fan troops. So, but yeah, it was a good pick. So I encourage, hey, when you guys get together, if you're doing something fun, even if it's just hanging out, we've seen the Vegas guys send us photographs, send them along. I mean, we want to promote these sorts of get-togethers as much as possible. This is a social hobby. We should be hanging out. No beers. I thought there were some beers on the table. Maybe not. Let me go back to that photo. Where was that? Well, I guess you're right. It's all waters, Dino. My goodness, all waters, and then maybe an iced tea for Ian. So they were all driving. So that's a wise choice. But look at the Jason. I don't know if Jason's still here. I just found this picture. Jason wanted to own the Crotch Goblin. I have to tell everybody it was on his want list, and Marcus snatched it up before Jason could put it into his own personal collection. But at least he got his photograph with it before it was sold out from under him. It could be all vodka, Rick. Yes, it could have been. And that's a good question, Nick. How is it that I'm only at 64 likes? I have 105 people watching right now. I don't know how that works. Oh boy, Chris Snork, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. But Jason's here. Well, then there you go. You get to see your pick one more time with the Crotch Goblin before it goes and gets shipped off to Marcus. But thank you for that photograph, Marcus. I do really enjoy showing off these types of things, these get-togethers from the hobby, as everybody knows. So what do we got now? Now, a couple things. Let's see. Andrew G, what was it? Do you list somewhere the pages, galleries you showcase for each CAF update? I'd like to check out what you selected, but you didn't show the pieces outside of the intro last time. I do. If you look in the show description tonight, I've been bad about it, I have to tell you. But in the show description tonight, there is a link that goes over to the report page over on CAF, and that actually details every piece of art that we talk about in the dealer or auction segment, and it also links to every piece that Chris and I pick in the in our CAF update as well. And again, I'm sure a lot of people don't know about this, so I put the link in the chat for those of you who are curious. But we actually have a YouTube page on CAF that we try to organize all of the things that we do on the YouTube channel, and I don't update it as often as I should, but I do always update the CAF update in that list. And if you were to go over to CAF right now, you'd see underneath the design there is a link for YouTube videos, and each one of those links to a page that you would be able to see all the links to all the artworks that we pick. So even the week before when with Chuck, all of those are linked in there. So yes, for every update I do here, there is a corresponding page report on CAF detailing the artworks picked and the auction and dealer art sales that we talk about. So there you have it. Yes, I try to be as thorough as possible, but I used to always put those links in the description, and I can just tell you, I'm usually coming in here hot and by the seat of my pants, and so I've forgotten the last few times. But I do try to do that, and we used to always remind people that they were there. But yeah, I'd say over the last couple months when things got a little hairy around here, we just I didn't get them in there. But they are always there. They do exist without question. So there's that, and they're also linked. Well, no, we don't link to them in the mailing, do I? I just kind of tease which collectors we feature, whose artworks we're featuring. So that's in the mailing that goes out. Yes, that's true. We always link to it, but yeah, for those of you who want the link to see where we list all the videos, that's in the chat now as well. So now last week, of course, I had that very short show, and it was tough because I actually had a flip and a calf cribs in the can. So today I'm going to show both of those off. This first one that don't sit on the X-Men bar stools when coming in hot. That's good advice, Rick Welch. Thank you. I'm going to show the flip first. The flip is from Rom 2814. We see Rom in the chat all the time, of course, and he put together. He's a Hawkman fan, as everybody knows. If you've seen the pieces that he's bought on Dueling Dealers, they're by and large, I'd say, yeah, I think he's always bought Hawkman art. So you're going to get to see, well, here's the thing. It's a little bit long, so I've only clipped about 10 minutes of this. Tomorrow I will post the full flip. So you'll get to see about half of his flip today, and you'll get to see the full flip tomorrow when I post it on the YouTube channel. Probably the flip will be on at 1 o'clock, and I'll post the calf cribs probably around 3 o'clock tomorrow. So here is the flip from Rom, and I think you're going to enjoy it. And I'm not a DC guy, but there's a lot of fantastic art in this flip today. So here we go.
Hi everyone, going to try to do a quick flip through all of my Hawkman pages. One of those weird collectors that follows characters rather than artists. Have my favorite Hawkman artist, but I've been a Hawkman fan since I was about probably 6 or 7 years old, watching Super Friends in front of the TV on Saturday morning. I'll start with pages from back in the 60s and work my way forward until just a couple of years ago. This first page is from 1967, pencils and inks by Murphy Anderson, Hawkman number 20, page 5. One of the things I always liked about Hawkman and Hawkgirl was that their wings and ability to fly were actually artificial, so any pages where they're putting on or taking off their wings and helmet always particularly appeals to me. So you can see them doing that in the first panel here. Well, after that first run of Hawkman, it was about 20 years before he got his own comic book again. And during that time, he appeared in backup features and other comics, and in the Justice League. On the left is a page from a backup story in Detective Comics number 434 from 1973, with pencils by Rich Buckler and inks by Dick Giordano. And I really enjoyed this backup feature and the whole series of them in Detective Comics because it showcased that Hawkman was a police officer and a detective from his home planet of Thanagar. And again, here's a good picture of Hawkman putting his artificial wings and costume on before going out to fight crime. On the right is a page I'm very fond of from Justice League of America number 145 from 1977, with pencils by Dick Dillon and inks by Frank McLaughlin. I have really fond memories of this comic because when I was a kid, I actually used Silly Putty to make a copy of Hawkgirl's face from one of the pages, for those old enough to remember using Silly Putty. Hawkman got another set of tryout issues in Showcase Presents numbers 101 to 103 in 1978 with pencils by Al Milgrom and inks by Murphy Anderson. I particularly love these comics because they focus on the science fiction origins of the Silver Age Hawkman and Hawkgirl, and also includes Adam Strange and his cast as guest characters in the series. These are also personally meaningful to me because the very first comic book I bought was Showcase number 103 that I picked up from an old used bookstore. And I love that comic to death. Read it again and again until the cover fell off and I had to staple it back on. I love the inset panel here with Adam Strange bursting into Hawkman's cruiser and the spacesuits that are flying out into the vacuum of space, which becomes a plot point later on in the series. Next up are a couple of pages making a double page spread from Showcase number 102 that shows the fleets of Ran and Thanagar aligned against each other in orbit over the planet Ran, and Hawkman trying to navigate his cruiser between them without being destroyed. Love any appearance of the Hawk Cruiser. Remember seeing that on the Super Friends cartoon as a kid, and so whenever it showed up in the comic, I was thrilled, and love getting any pages that actually include the ship. Sorry these aren't taped together, but I actually acquired them that way, even though I didn't get them from Anthony, and didn't want to add tape to them. And from the same issue, 2 sequential pages, 6 and 7, of Hawkman and Hawkgirl fighting off the forces of Ran as they try to escape, until Sardath manages to teleport their ship and the rest of them into a hangar to effect repairs. I love the perspective on this page with the close-up of Sardath's face and then the ship in the background, of course. I don't think I can adequately express how lucky I feel to own this cover to Showcase number 103 with pencils and inks by Joe Kubert. Again, this was the first comic I'd ever purchased, so owning it feels a little bit dreamlike. Every time I look at it, I think I'm a little bit giddy. Obviously, Kubert's work on the Hawks is pretty legendary, Hawkman being the first character he drew professionally, and then also revitalized their look for the Silver Age. I also love the Bronze Age quality of this cover in terms of showing the science fiction elements of Hawkman and Hawkgirl as they fight the giant monster with their ray guns. Just a quick pause after that cover. And the next few pages are from DC Comics Presents number 11 in 1979, pencils by Joe Staton, inks by Frank Chiaramonte. Love this comic that portrays a clash of titans between the 2 big DC superheroes of Superman and Hawkman. And as you can see in the final panel, Hawkman is pummeling Superman with enough force to knock down the Eiffel Tower. This comic is also really special to me because it's the very first one that I picked up off the spinner rack back at a grocery store in West Virginia. So really a dream to own these pages as well. And this next page has some great Superman action as he's showing off for a photographer who won a contest. But the thing I really love about it is the little quiet conversation between Superman and Hawkgirl as she's worried about what's going on with Hawkman. And Superman's trying to figure out why Hawkman's trying to kill him. And for a while, Hawkman and Hawkgirl were regular features in World Finest Comics. And these two pages are from number 264 and 265 from 1980, with pencils by Ken Landgraf and inks by Armando Gil. On the left, Hawkgirl's been hit by a car, and Hawkman is facing some helplessness and frustration in dealing with that. On the right, Hawkman fighting in space against some aliens as he's trying to track Hawkgirl down, who's left him temporarily after changing her name to Hawkwoman. The next set of pages are really my favorite run of Hawkman. Starting in 1985 with the Shadow War of Hawkman miniseries, Tony Isabella really fleshed the characters out like no one had before. Richard Howell was the penciler on the miniseries and most of the ongoing series afterwards, and for me is one of the best Hawkman artists ever. These pages are from the first issue of the miniseries, with inks by Alfredo Alcala, and I absolutely loved his inking throughout the miniseries. The texture on the wings of the characters is just amazing to me. So really an iconic version of Hawkman that stood out for me as I was reading these in high school. And another pair of pages by Howell and Alcala from the final issue of the miniseries, when Hawkman blows up his cruiser, killing 7 evil Thanagarians aboard, which will play out later in the series. I love the inking work here, and again, I love any page with the ship that's shown, so seeing it blown up at the time was pretty dramatic, but really the bottom right panel of the page is what just sells it for me, is the care between Shara and Qatar after he's been injured on his ship. The next set of pages are from Hawkman Special number 1 by Richard Howell and Ron Randall. This issue reintroduced the Gentleman Ghost, or Gentleman Jim Craddock, one of Hawkman's classic villains going all the way back to the Golden Age, and made it clear that he was actually a ghost and not just a trickster. The page on the right does a nice job of giving a single-page recap of everything that happened in the miniseries, including Hawkman blowing up his cruiser and killing the Thanagarians aboard. Next 3 pages are pages 8, 9, and 10 from the series, where we see Hawkman and Hawkgirl called into Midway City Museum to investigate a disturbance, which is an opening into the astral plane, where they're pulled into physically for Hawkman to deal with the spirits of the dead from his Thanagarian cruiser explosion. One of the fun things about this issue for me was just that Hawkman was always portrayed as a real skeptic about anything spiritual, whereas Hawkgirl was the more spiritual of the pair. And here Hawkman has to deal with each of the people that were slain by his actions in turn, so they can pass on to the next phase of existence. And now picking up with the regular series starting in 1986, issue number 3 on the left, with an homage to Alfred Hitchcock and the Birds. Now Richard Howell continued as penciler and was joined by Don Heck as inker. The page on the right is from issue number 5 and features the return of one of Hawkman's classic Silver Age villains, Lion Mane, who even appeared in a candy bar commercial with Hawkman. 2 more pages from Hawkman number 5. And these pages, love seeing Hawkman and Hawkgirl again without their helmets on and actually getting them in flight. A little quick appearance from Gentleman Jim Craddock as well. And the fight continues with Lion Mane. Does not go well for Hawkman as he gets in close and has his wings ripped off and then skewered by a spear. Love the panel with Lion Mane roaring in victory at the end as well. And now a solo action page of Hawkgirl by Richard Howell and Carlos Garzon from issue number 13 of the series. Always nice to see Hawkgirl in action, particularly against some sci-fi monsters from Thanagar.
Pretty good. And like I say, there's another 10 minutes or so of that, I believe. And thank you, Ron, for putting that together. It it's great. And I get to learn a little bit about Hawkman as well. So it's not going to make me a convert, but I appreciate it. And hey, I hope more people will consider doing flips like these that show off kind of, who have more of a singular focus. Rom obviously is another character of choice. But I like that. We've done a couple of those, I think, in the past where it's all just a single character or title, and I think that's awesome. So thank you for doing that. Gabe Perino says, "I want more. We'll get more tomorrow, Gabe. I will post the entire flip at 1:00 tomorrow." So we're gonna just roll right into the Cribs video, and this was put together by Matt Kennedy, whom of course we just saw on Monday in his Pro-Am duel with Anthony, where he whooped Anthony, because Anthony's here, I can say that. And Matt is a very creative gentleman in his own right. He's done a lot in his time in this hobby, and he has his own gallery. He's just an amazing guy all around, reps artists, you name it. But he and Jeff Wedding had a very creative few weeks. As we know, Jeff was a part of the Monday show as well, in the background, in the foreground, in the form of a hand puppet a few times. But yes, Matt Kennedy is crediting Mr. Wedding for shooting this calf Cribs video. Now, I won't give it away, but I did have to. Usually, I would cut it off right at the in the middle, because it's another one where we're going to show about 10 minutes of it, and the rest of it will be shown in its entirety tomorrow. But the ending was just so good. I had to take that ending and put it on the end of today's segment, because I didn't want to wait till tomorrow for people to see that, Matt. It's too good. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the calf Cribs video for Matt, and I know you're going to enjoy it, and you're really and you're just not getting enough here. So you're going to really enjoy getting to see the full clip tomorrow when I post it at 3 p.m. So here we go.
Hello, comic art fans. I'm Matt Kennedy, and this is my crib. Let's go upstairs. Let's head into the bedroom. Now let's head into the comic art run. Well, here it is, the Sanctum Sanctorum. There's a lot of good comic art on the walls, I think. I'm a huge collector of Bruno Redondo, and you'll see that on the far wall. But first, let's go through some of the pieces on the north wall. So top left here, we've got a commission I got from Bruno Redondo. He is a predominantly digital artist, but I got him to do an analog piece of Nightwing in tribute to Daredevil 181. Of course, replacing Daredevil with Nightwing, Bullseye with the Joker, and Elektra with Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. There's, I just found out this has got a high probability of becoming the cover to a Nightwing special, #1. So that was, I guess, my first art-directed cover for a comic book. Over here, of course, we've got a beautiful Ryan Ottley tribute to both Wolverine #1 and the Daredevil cover, of course, of No More Mr. Nice Guy. Both Frank Miller comics, and a piece that I actually picked up on eBay. And when I acquired this, it became a very pivotal piece in changing how I collect things. Here you've got Howard Inks over Mazzucchelli Blue Line. Great, beautiful scene from Batman Year One. In this case, done as a double page splash as opposed to just a single frame on the top of a single page. And this piece I just picked up very recently. This is a beautiful Chris Wildgoose Batgirl page. This is a double page splash. Just amazing. It's pencil on top of a Blue Line mechanical pencil. And I believe what they do is they do a contrast of the pencils the same way that Frank Whiteley chooses to do a hard contrast on his 2H graphite pencils instead of doing actual inkings. But I just love the sense of motion and action in this piece. Another great commission. This, of course, is Immortal Hulk and Joe Bennett. And, you know, I had one of my favorite pieces of artwork in the history of comics is Fantastic Four #51, This Man, This Monster. And so I had him do an Immortal Hulk version of this with Hulk as the Thing, which is sort of timely, and having other characters step in for the characters in the Fantastic Four, including the Harpy and, you know, the Phosphorus Dude. And this, of course, needs very little explanation. Most people recognize this as a wonderful tribute to X-Men, Uncanny X-Men #141. This is Raul Fernandez tribute using the Generation X characters. And again, I picked every single person on the poster and really gave a lot of direction on this and got it turned on very quickly. He was able to accomplish this in really, I think, less than 2 months, and just a beautiful, beautiful piece. We all hope that we'll get a revival of that 90s Generation X team, and it'd be great if Fernandez could do it. He's a huge fan. So on the left here, you've got an original standing signboard poster for Female Yakuza Tale. In a previous life, I was the president of Panic House Entertainment, and we released a lot of Pinky Violence films. I was largely responsible for bringing the Pinky Violence film from Japan to the United States for the very first time. And this poster with Reiko Ike and a film directed by Taro Ishii reflects the trading cards that form a gambling game in Japan, mainly in Yakuza-owned gambling houses, and it's just a pinnacly rare poster, but just a beautiful piece that exemplifies the entire genre. Many of the posters of the Pinky Violence films feature a ton of nudity. I didn't want to have a lot of nudity on my walls, and so I felt like this one really captured that element of what has been an important part of my career and even an important part of collecting moving forward. And as you look next to that, you're going to see top to bottom Christine Wu painting, a Mark Todd piece, tribute to the Fantastic Four X-Men. And next to that, or bottom of that, I guess you should say, there's another Christine Wu. Wonderful illustrator from California, Taiwanese American. And then here from top to bottom, you've got a Bernie Wrightson Frankenstein title artwork. One of my favorite pieces. Bernie Wrightson always been one of my favorite artists. You're still here? It's over. Go home.
There I am, out of focus again. Here we go. Come on. Why does that do that? I'll never understand this thing. I'm not going to be that. What is ever? It must be like a bug flies in front of my camera and then decides to screw it up like that. Come on, slowly. Anyway, I'll come into focus briefly, I'm sure. But Matt Kennedy, that was awesome. I love the Bueller thing at the end. And typically, like I said, I'd cut that off and leave it. Stupid thing. I'm not going to be that close. Come on. Come on. Look at that. My fingernails are in focus. Anyway, it'll fix itself eventually. But like I said, thank you, Matt, for doing it. That was awesome. And as everybody knows, we love it when you send in your calf cribs and weekly flips. Anybody has any questions about how to do those, you should always just email me, Bill at Comic Art Fans. I would be very, very, very happy to give you any instruction. It's real simple. The thing to always remember is film horizontal. Do not shoot your stuff vertical. I have to pay for a clear view of Bill. Yeah, if you don't, what the heck is up with this thing? I mean, this is going to be the thing that tips me to buy that freaking super duper expensive camera that I've been avoiding, because it always does this. It just doesn't make any sense. Why, when I play a recording, does it like to get like that? I don't know. I guess we'll stay out of focus for a few minutes. I don't think it's the lighting. Let me mess with that for a second here and bump up some of the lighting and see if it changes anything. No, it just makes me brighter and out of focus. What the hey? Well, you don't need to see me all the time. I can go ahead and shooting a light. Yeah, Anthony. Where are we at? $2 towards the cam fund. What the heck is wrong with this thing? And I tell you, technology these days, everybody. Look at that. You can see that you could practically get a fingerprint off of me. It's so in focus. It's 3 inches from the camera. Control Alt Delete. I don't know what the heck. Maybe it'll fix itself when I'm showing these slides. I'm my OnlyFans filter. Thank you, Marcus. What the heck? You know, it's like, look at that. I can put the microphone in front of it and it is perfectly in focus. This thing is a whatever. Anyway, I will I've got the slide to show, and maybe when the slide is showing, if I stop and start my webcam, it will fix itself. Wink, wink. We'll see. Faking a perm. Yeah, it does kind of look like that, doesn't it? All right, but thank you, Mikhail, for the for the Cam Bill Fund. Yeah. All right, let's see. Schedule. Let's get out. Well, yeah. You know what? No, I didn't want to do the schedule first. First, remember, those of you who did watch the show last Friday or Thursday, I did open that box that I got from Philip Anderson. And as probably those of you who remember, I said I didn't have the actual information about Philip's business. And, you know, he sent me a box of wine, and that was super awesome of him to do that. And so I was very, you know, it was cool. And we didn't open any up during the party. I put it on the bar. I thought for sure somebody would open one of the bottles. None of them got open. But Philip is a good friend, and he is the guy I bought my first artwork from. So I've given him a little plug here. TwistedCedarWines.com is where that wine came from. So I think he's worked with them for a while. So I don't know how long he's been there, but he's had many different careers. And look, I'm still out of focus. Man, this thing, I'm going to unplug it and plug it back in, and then we're going to see if I can fix it. But if I unplug it, it's probably not going to come back at all. So we won't do that right now. I'm just going to get really angry. You won't like me when I'm angry and out of focus. I guess we'll go ahead and do that schedule now. Where are we? Here we are. Because I got a few things that I want to show, several slides actually. So as far as the schedule goes, the big stuff coming up is first is this Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've got Klaus Janson on. And, we're going to do an interview like we always do. Jason will be with us on screen and, on camera as well. But, as you know, Klaus is celebrating 50 years in the biz this year. And we are going to have artwork for sale from all 50 years of his time in the business. And we're going to have a few pieces that he's penciled and inked. We're going to have stuff from both Marvel and DC. But, I can give you a few of the artists that we're going to have art where he is inked by John Buscema, Scott Eaton, Chris Mooneyham, let's see, another Sal Buscema piece. What do we got? Some Lee Weeks, more John Buscema, John McCrae, Epting, Dodson, Tom Lyle, Eric Larson. Man, there's a lot of good stuff. And there's a lot of John Romita Jr. too. Nick Brucci, you're going to want to tune in just to see what is going to be available on Saturday. Then there's Jose Garcia Lopez pieces. And what else we got? A few other things too. And I'll actually show you some teasers in a few moments. Then Tony Fleeks will be with me on Monday. I'll have a Mannix art sale on Tuesday. Some great new pieces from Mannix. Then Christian Gossett I'll have on the following Saturday, the 25th at 2 p.m. as well. We will have a Mike Berkey make offer sale. And as I mentioned to everybody last night, you can submit your offers for the Mike Berkey make offer sale to me. Please don't send them to Mike. They got to come to me because I'm the one who has to categorize the whole thing, put it in a spreadsheet, and then give it to him before the show. So if you want to do that, just browse around on Berkey's site and send me an email with the pieces that you'd like to make an offer on. Remember, combos are usually better, but if you only want one piece, that's fine too. But send me the link to it with your offer, and I will store them. We will present them to Mike in the order that they are received. And I have started getting emailed offers the last couple days, actually. So very good start to that. So, but yeah, look over romitaman.com and send in your offers to me, bill@comicartfans.com. Then I've got Adam Law on that following Tuesday. I've got Steve Root on a Saturday art sale show, again, 2 p.m. I've got the sketchbook show with James. Of course, I'm a viewer just like you guys are when that's going to go on. I'll have Dinesh and Zatari on after that. Then Sunday afternoon, I wrote Sarasota. Sorry, I guess it's Boca Grande. But that is the George Pratt and James Martin exhibit that I'll be attending. Cosner will be there. George Pratt will be there. James Martin will be there. It's going to be a good time. Sarah Frazetta will be there too. The day after that, on a Monday, I will be doing a Joe Phillips art sale. Typically, I'd want to do that on a Saturday, but that doesn't work for Joe's schedule. So I will be doing that on a Monday night with Joe. Then that same Saturday, Howard Chaykin will be back in the house selling some art for him. Then I've got a Hakes preview the following week. Randy House. Dan Brereton, doesn't say art sale after his name, it should. But he'll be on the 25th. Then Sam Maroney, who is like the ultimate fan of this business. He's been around a long time. He was a writer, and he attended many cons in the 70s and 80s. So he's got a plethora of photographs and things that we're going to be able to see from his time going out to shows and things. So I can't wait to have Sam on. He wrote a book about fandom and all of his interactions in it. He gave it to me when we were in Columbus last August, and it was a very good read. And again, I'm looking forward to having him on the show. And then we'll do another show with art sale with Mike Oming on the 8th of April. And then another one with Bart Sears on the 15th of April. So man, oh man, I've got a lot of sales shows going on. Very busy. And of course, I'm not including Wednesdays and the CAF updates and everything. But as you can see, my schedule's pretty packed through the middle of April. Yowza. And I think this camera is still out of focus. And it is. What the heck, man? Boy, this is. I can't wait to shrink myself down to small size when Mr. Snort gets in here and we look at art, so you can't see how blurry I am. But before we do that, what I wanted to show, I want to show off a couple of pieces from some of these upcoming sales shows that I have. And first up, of course, is the Saturday show with Klaus. And so here I've got a couple pieces. These are both, of course, from John Romita Jr. pencils. You got a Punisher Warzone page on the left and a more recent Punisher cover there, I believe, on the right. So that will be available on Saturday, both of those. And then this is a piece that was, I think, originally appeared in Maxim magazine, but then was made into a poster. So it's pretty damn awesome. I mean, look at that Thor throwing the hammer through the wall. You've never seen anything like that on Dueling Dealers, but this is pretty cool. Look at Spider-Man actually has a copy of Maxim in the back of his pants. I didn't even notice that till now. So very, very nice. John Romita Jr., of course, pencils, and Klaus inks on that one. Then you got a couple classic Marvel pieces here. What is that? A Thor annual page, and also a Subby page. Yeah, that's so I think it's the Mighty Thor annual. Sal Buscema on the Thor, and I believe, isn't that Sal on the other page as well? So 2 Sal pages, the price of 2 artworks. Yes, not price of 1, but those are really nice. And one other slide I pulled together was I know the one on the right is a cover, pencils and inks by Klaus, and then the other piece is another one all by Klaus as well from a Detective Annual. So like I say, we're going to run the gamut on Klaus's artworks in this show. But yeah, Sal on both, says Nick. Yeah, I'm not telling you the prices on anything yet. Sorry. Can't tell you the prices. Look, I'm still out of focus. Just talk to the hand. I'm going to leave my hand right there because at least you can count the rings on my fingers and stuff that way. What the heck, man? I really should just like disconnect this thing, but if I did that, you can pretty much guarantee that it will not come back on. Anyway, so Christian Gossett art. I have a few pieces from him too. He's got mostly he's got Star Wars art, he's got some Superman art, and all that's going to be very moderately priced. Of course, Christian is mostly known for his work on Red Star, and he doesn't have a lot of that artwork left. And so any of the Red Star art that we're going to show, and I can show that on a separate slide here. It's a cover on the left, and Christian worked a lot like say Pratt worked on Wolverine Natsuki. He did pretty much all the pieces like panel pieces, and it was brought together digitally, painted digitally. So these are 2. He doesn't have a lot, and he doesn't have a lot of these left. So I know these are going to be kind of pricey, but you get some pieces like this, Superman on the left, and some Sith Star Wars page on the right. And then you'll get some of the Red Star stuff as well. And I know I've been teasing Dan Brereton stuff. I'm succumbing to, he keeps sending me artwork, and he and I talked for about an hour today just about the show that's a month away. And I just was like, Dan, I'm just going to show some of these pieces. I'm like, if any, he's like, oh, it's cool. Teasers are good. Dan has been, he's been working diligently on these. He's going to bring 25 custom pieces that he's put together of characters that he's always wanted to work on or he loves working on. So it's going to be a really interesting mix of stuff. I've seen about half of them so far, but don't drool too much when you see these because they are fantastic. And price wise on these, I think they're going to be mostly in the I think like the 900 to 1200 range in there. We haven't fully finalized stuff, but they're pretty much, they're amazing. So, you get classic costume there. I love that one. A couple more attractive pieces here as well. Scarlet Witch, Tigra. Can't go wrong with these, right? I mean, fully painted edge to edge. He's killing it. He was like, I'm just going to paint everything I like. And even if it doesn't sell, I don't care. Cause he's like, I'm going to Como. I just want to have stuff that I really wanted to do. And he's slaying it right now. Absolutely slaying it. I mean, look at that classic Warlock, Dark Phoenix, man, look at these things. I mean, we're not, we do a lot of these sales shows, but I mean, he's been sending these to me for the last 2 weeks. Like every other day I get another image and I'm like, dang on it. I mean, they're gorgeous. So what else we got here? A couple other pieces that I was going to show. I'm not showing them all, but oh gosh, Poison Ivy on the left is phenomenal. All the backgrounds on it, and he's kind of just doing it however he feels. It's like if the character he feels needs a background on it, he's going all out and doing a piece like that on the left. Or if he feels, it can be a little bit more focused on the character, he's I know, great googly moogly, says Jeff Wedding. Right. I know, it's crazy. He is really, really, really doing some excellent work here. And one more I actually had here. So Barda on the left, and the masked Doctor Strange character, of course, on the right. So, and there's plenty more of these. I mean, just freaking amazing. So sorry, I couldn't hold back any longer. I had to show these things off. So look at this. I'm in focus now. I just needed to show Dan Brereton art. How did I? Well, now that'll be the key. I'm never going to drop those slides out of here again. But anything from Nocturnals, Murdoch. Hey, that's actually, he was talking about. He's actually specifically been talking more and more about different characters and things that he wanted to do. We did talk about some Nocturnal stuff. He is going to be bringing some published pieces as well. He's going to have 25 commission style pieces like that, and then some Nocturnals as well. But I can certainly ask him to do a few Nocturnals pinups as well. And I'll tell you what, if you actually have like a few wants, feel free to send me an email, because again, that show's a month away. He's only about halfway through these 25 pieces. And if there was a character or two that you were interested in, I could float them to him. And if he's interested in them, he'll do them. I mean, I think he told me about another 8 that he's either started or is in the works. And, again, he's doing just pieces that he's always wanted to do. So, no, I love Nocturnals as well. Any nudes in them? Well, actually, there was one. I didn't show it. It was there was a Deja Thoris. And while she was nude, he was a creative use of nudity, I think. But MODOK with an olive leaf. Okay, Cosra, that's a possibility. He would actually probably do a damn good MODOK. I'll float that one by him. You never know, but yeah, that'd be very interesting, wouldn't it? But Dan, I've known Dan for a long time. He's obviously good friends with Morger. He was always at our Big Wow shows, and he's just an awesome guy all around. Very, very outgoing, and yeah, I love getting the opportunity to chat with him all the time. But he's really killing it for this stuff. So I'm very happy. Modam. Oh, Modam. I'm sorry. Modam with an olive leaf. Okay, I got it. I should put my other glasses on when I'm doing the show sometimes. These glasses are the bifocals are probably a little out of date here. Like, there we go. Now I can read everything better. Any Mannix previews, Gabe wants. So you know what? I didn't make a Mannix preview. I really should have. I've only gotten to see 2 pieces. One was an X-Men piece, which I didn't tease, and I did create the show record the other day, and that actually kind of teases the Iron Man piece. I can kind of show it to you a little bit here. Let's see, right there. So this is the show that I've got next Tuesday with Mannix. So that's not the full image, of course, of Iron Man in that space. As I try to fill the screen a little bit better, but yeah, it's about 2/3 of it there. But it's really cool, where Mannix does those where he juxtaposes images on top of one another, like he's doing here. It's just a great image, and the X-Men piece is really cool because it's got the classic team on it and kind of a Magneto head on it, but then a similar like juxtaposing of images and things on it. So I've only seen those 2 pieces. I do not know what the other pieces will be, but I mean, typically, I did one solo show with Mannix before, and I think they had 8 pieces. So I would expect at least 8 to 12 pieces from Mannix again. As well. Who's out of focus now? You guys are funny. And Mike Vermanick. Yes, exactly. And I feel the same way, Chris. Hembeck and Heritor. He's got just a very distinctive style. He's incredible. He really is. So, and he does have art for sale over on Next Comic Art. There's a few pieces still available over there. So, at any rate, I love hanging out with Jiggy and Mannix as well. He's a great guy. And Tuesday, look forward to that. And if I would have had some more pieces from him, I would have put together some slides as well. so that you can see more of what's out there. But I don't even know. I'll probably get them the day of, because Manic's well, he's a busy guy these days, so I don't typically. And even when we were doing some of the shows with Jiggy, we'd always kind of get his pieces later. But they're well worth it. Fantastic guy, well collected now. I mean, ever since we've been working with Next Comic Art, all of his artists have really been populating people's calf galleries a lot. So always a good thing. All right, now before we get on to the update, I did want to show off. I know I saw several people commenting on the Bill Morrison artwork that I showed during the little clip from the party, and I have it here. I haven't posted it to my calf yet. I finally did scan it, but I have not had the opportunity to post it to my calf gallery. But take a look at that. Now, this was a gift from my very, very good friend, Mikhail. He commissioned Bill Morrison to do this, and it's ironic because I've been talking to Bill about getting myself Simpsonized, and lo and behold, Mikhail went out and did it for me, and it's so cool. He actually just told Bill he wanted the me and the comic book guy, so we got that, and Bill kind of did whatever else he wanted. Look at that! I'm holding the first page of original art to the fictional Radioactive Man #1, page 1. And comic book guy is freaking out. So I just love this thing. It is absolutely amazing. And the cool thing will be is that it's going to, as soon as I get a frame for it, I'm going to put it up there. And like I told everybody, I was trying to leave space for shorter artwork or smaller pieces, and this one's going up there. So thank you, Mikhail. Again, this is gorgeous. And for those of you out there who don't have an original Bill Morrison, you really need to get one. And of course, talk to Ken at 4C, because he reps Bill. Bill's just an incredible guy. I don't know why I haven't had him on the show yet, just to do an interview with him, because he's got an amazing collection. He's been in the business for a long time. He does a lot of good for the industry and all illustrators out there. So thank you, Jason. Best commission ever. That's what I feel about this thing, man. It really is incredible. So thank you, Mikhail. Thank you, Bill. And thank you, Ken, for everybody facilitating this fantastic piece of art that was given to me during the get-together, right after we took the group shot. I was like, what's this for? Bill's like, it's for you. So also, Anthony brought me a piece of art as well, and framed as well. So it's a housewarming gift too. Anthony didn't tell me what it was for. He just handed it to me, and I'm like, oh, it's really nice, Anthony. I like it. I handed it back to him. He's like, no, it's yours. So we've joked a bit, during Dueling Dealers about the Muppets and things. So what do we got here? We got Kermit and Fozzie, and Anthony's always kind of the Fozzie bear. What is it? It really doesn't matter if you can't catch a fish, Fozzie. It's just you and me out here. Don't take it so seriously. Nobody's gonna laugh at you. And poor Fozzie's like, want to bet? All the fish are just laughing at him. So there you have it. I love it. And look at that. That's really nice. I had to take it off the wall so I could show it off today, from 1983. Wow. 40 years old, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much, Anthony and Sharon, for that little housewarming present. And look, I'm out of focus again. This damn thing, man. I think it's the mic. I think the mic is throwing things off a bit, isn't it? There we go. Now we get it out of the way. It's probably because it was close in the center. See, I'm learning tech as we go. Yeah, you know what? I didn't even show off. I forgot. I brought, for the party, those of you who didn't get to go, look what I gave out to everybody. Moidoc stickers, too. So, I don't know. I hope everybody grabbed one. And look, I screwed it up again, didn't I? Son of a bitch. Anyway, now you can't see me at all. And Comic Art fan stickers, Comic Art Live stickers. We gave it all away. Look at this thing. Now I can't even show off anything else I got. I also got a box of stuff from Kazra. Thank you, Kazra, for that. There's several books in here. I have not had a chance to pour over them yet, but he did bring me some spectacular shirts. I should have worn one tonight. Look at this. Look at this. From official Marvel merchandise, too. A little bit of MODOK action right there. We know that Kazra is the MODOK guy. So, yeah, this is awesome. He brought me 3 of them. So now I can give one to my son. Maybe one of the girls can have one. But they're great. And then he also brought me a Baron Story book, 2 actually. So I've got those right here. Thank you, Kazra, for that. And then a sculptor that, if you're into sculpture, as I am, Scott Radke. This is a book. I know that Kazra worked with Scott quite a bit. You can see his work in the tome book that Kazra put together. But Radke's just an amazing sculptor, figurative work in a kind of very, little scary, little interesting. I mean, but the cool thing about Scott is he actually shoots all the photographs himself. He's just an incredibly talented guy. And for those of you who've not ever tried to photograph things like this, it actually is not that easy to do this work. And Scott puts he'll put things out outside and do some stuff like where he's actually putting things out to make them look a little more lifelike and whatnot. And he's just incredibly talented gentleman. And I'm happy to have a couple of books from my good friend Kazra. Now, what other? Oh, okay. I got a package. I got a package in the mail, and it has no return address on it. So, and it's addressed to Collectors Network. So, I mean, I'm assuming this is not something business related. So, I'm going to go ahead and open it, and we'll see what it is. But yeah, usually have some indication of where a package is coming from, but not this time. Okay. What's comic book shape? Let's see what's in here. No letter. Oh wait, there's. Oh, I know what this is. Nick, I hope you're watching. These are the two. Well, I picked up. As everybody knows, when we did the Fat Jacks fundraiser, I picked up the Journey into Mystery Marvel Masterworks edition from him, and I paid for it immediately. And that evening, I got an email from Mike saying he wanted me to have it, and he just wanted to get my mailing address. And I said, well, I already paid for it. No, not Planetary. I do need to pick up a few more of those. So the Journey into Mystery one, but so I paid for it, and he said, well, I'll send you another one. So he has sent me the Marvel Masterworks Volume 1 for the Fantastic Four as well. So that's awesome. So I got Thor and the Fantastic Four. And as everybody knows, these are out of print. Very, very cool to get these. So thank you, Mike. We will be doing something for Fat Jacks again very soon. I know Nick was like giving me some room so I could get caught up with everything after the last couple of weeks. So I need to get with him so we can figure out a date for the next fundraiser. We're probably going to do it either on a Friday after his show, or we might do it on a Sunday afternoon. I threw those out there, and Nick agreed those would be like probably the best times to do them as well. I'm pretty much open to it. We just haven't had a chance to talk. But we will be doing another one of those where there'll be some art and some interesting material like this available again. It was a lot of fun and went to a very good cause, of course. And one last box. I know what this is. I'll open it up anyway. Everybody knows the best of trophies did come in. And for those of you who won a best of trophy, I haven't asked for your mailing address yet. It was a busy week, but I will be getting those requests out so I can get those in the mail next week as well. But as we showed, my uncle had glued the hammers onto the bases because he did all that extra work and just figured that's what I wanted, which of course I didn't want, but he did it. So what happened was because with those glued to the bases, you got this heavy base and then this hammer with the handle sticking up. So 5 of them broke. 5 of the handles broke off of the hammers. So I had to ask my uncle to print 5 more so that I can repair the 5 that got damaged. So I've got 5 Thor hammers now. Now I can fix those bases that got damaged and get these things mailed out. So I apologize to those of you who did get a best of trophy this year. I will get those requests out for your mailing addresses very soon, and we'll get those in the mail. Because once you get them, everybody who gets one better take a picture of it wherever you decide to display it and send it in to me, because I remember Fish Benz had his in this on a shelf, I think next to a Thor statue. I don't know if Fish is still here or not, but I just like to see him. I think we all like to see him. I don't know if we have like repeat winners, so I don't think we'll see somebody who's got two beside them, except for Marcus. I mean, he has to get this one because now he's got two different variations of the Thor hammer. Marcus wants to claim the damaged hammers. I could do that. All right, Marcus, I'll tell you what, I will do that because there's 5 of them, and you could probably fix them. I mean, they are because they're 3D printed, and the handle end is actually hollow. So I didn't want to try to like super glue them and hope that they would stick. But I do believe that if you took a little bit of care, you could probably fix the 5. So I will happily send those to you when I send you your trophy. All right. I'll put it right next to the Legos. That's a very good place for them. All right. So I think that was all the gifts and packages that came in. But again, yeah, it was a great weekend, and I can't thank Mikhail and Bill enough for that, and Anthony for the piece of art as well. Very, very awesome. Sorry, no giveaways right now. El Carlos wants to enter for the hammers. Oh boy, but no, Marcus is going to get those. So what do we got now? Now we can do the CAF update. What time is it? My goodness, it's 148 minutes into this already. But 95 people are still watching. I hope you've all hit the thumbs up by now. Yes, that is everything. Okay, definitely nothing else to open here. Yeah. All right, so let's get over to this CAF update. Remember this week, what weeks are we? Is the one we're going for? The 6th through the 12th is the time period. So this was. Well, wait a minute. No, I can't do this. What did I forget? What did I forget, everybody? Nick Barucci's EXP and my Heritage stuff. So I'll go really quickly through Heritage because we are running long like I needed it. See, Chris Nork says, do the EXP promo. Thank you. It's on my list. How did I skip it over? I actually only scratched it out. That's why. So here, let's go ahead and run through the Heritage stuff first. Because Nick has a very special announcement about tomorrow, if you haven't heard already. So we cannot forget to do this. And where is it? Okay, here we go. Right here. Sharing the screen. All right. I will rush through these here. What do we got here? First up is the color cover to Ninjak #2 by Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti. It's got a big skull on it. Maureen would not approve of this one. It cannot be on the wall. But I thought this thing was gorgeous, as anything that Quesada and Palmiotti put their minds to. So, covered in Ninjak 2, 1994, almost 29 years old right now. Just beautiful. Love this thing. Look at that. And in color. So we saw the Ninjak 1 cover sell recently, right? So I'll be curious to see where that one ends up. This is a weekly auction, so an interesting item to have in there. Dinosaur skulls. Maybe dinosaur skulls would work, Marcus. Maybe. Let's see. Next up. This one was an Al Milgram inked Steve Ditko pencil page. Now, I don't know why, but they actually put a stat in here for this kind of stuff. I mean, you'd think that Ditko and Milgram could have just drawn it. I don't know why they'd stat it. Maybe there's original art underneath it, but the first and third panel has stat. But everything else is pure Ditko. And this is it's from Spider-Man Annual 5, but it's sort of like the origin of Captain Universe. So I love the last panel, right? I mean, everything about it is pure Ditko, but the last panel kicks butt. So and again, just an interesting piece to see in one of their weekly auctions. Shouldn't be too terribly expensive, I would think, at the end of the day, but it's in my watch list already. Then what do we got here? We've got a Jose Gonzalez Vampirella page. Always love his work. I mean, Vampirella is it's stunning. I love this piece. Love the panel layout on it with those pitched panels like that on the first row and the second row. Just fun storytelling. And I mean, man, gorgeous illustrator. I mean, look at that. Facing that fourth panel, second panel. So simple line work and brush work in this thing, but boy, is that gorgeous. Next piece here, Jim Starlin, Al Milgram. We all know that Milgram has given most of his stuff to Heritage, so I assume this is one of those pieces. Great Thanos piece here. And what was it from? Marvel Universe, The End, issue 5. So nice splash page from the pair. And that's cool. Must have done some extra like star background or something probably, but yeah, I like that one. Very nicely done by the pair. And another Al Milgrom piece. This one is all Al Milgrom, a UK cover from what is it, Mighty World of Marvel. So just a nice image. I always love these things. They usually sell for certainly a lot less than a regular published Marvel cover of the day of that period. This is from 1972. Holy moly! So it's over 50 years old. And, something like this, I don't know what it's going to go for. 5, 6, I don't know. We'll see what it is next week, right? But again, they never go for what a cover from that period. If you're going to get a Hulk cover from 72, it's going to cost you a whole lot more than whatever this thing's going to end up at. Then this one, I just love this one. This is a Wally Wood Warfront page. Just every, let me zoom back. Because as a complete page, I just love it. I love the composition, blacks to whites. I love the lettering. I love the layout in this thing. I love the three, the second and third rows here with the panels all evenly spaced out, and then the top panel like that. I mean, it's just gorgeous, and I love the plane in that first panel. I mean, it's just so nice and nice Wally Wood piece. It's attributed to Dan Adkins on the inks for it, but yeah. I like this page a whole lot. So didn't put a bid on it yet, though. I did put a bid on something today, and I was actually leading on it for about an hour, and then was outbid. A couple more here. Eric Powell. I mean, who doesn't love pretty much anything Eric Powell does when it's got the goon involved in it, or anything, of course. But I've always loved his styles. This, his mix of pencil work and then ink wash. I mean, it's so distinctive. Gosh, I mean, looking at this, I love it. I've never owned anything by Eric. I don't know why. I don't know. I wasn't a huge Goon fan, but I mean, just looking at this piece, I mean, oh, look, he's got a brick, a cinder block. I think he's going to beat this thing to, yeah, look at that. He's just about ready to kill it. Anyway, great piece of art by Mr. Powell. And yeah, I like this one a lot. A couple more pieces here. This is Alex Toth. And again, interesting, from 61, a Roy Rogers daily. But, and I guess, I didn't know it. I had to read the description because I was like, it says Toth and then Aaron's in here. But the description tells you that Toth used the last name Aaron's when he was doing work for King Features. I don't know why, but, back in the day, sometimes artists didn't want their main employers to know that they were working for other companies, and so that might be the case here. But really nice piece. I love it. Looks like it's kind of duo shade, right? I guess. Is that what's going on here? It must be. I mean, to see it kind of washing in like that. I don't recall that it said duo shade, but anyways, Toth, Cowboys. What more can you want? 2 more pieces to look at here. I saw. Didn't Matt mention something about Tim Truman earlier? But yeah, I love Tim Truman's work, and especially Grimjack and his work on TSR. But this is a really nice double-page spread from Conan. I think this was an IDW book from 2009, but really nicely done. And again, just everything that you really like in a Tim Truman piece. And look at the grass. I mean, he's really, really talented. I don't think gets the credit he should have, because man, he is so talented. I love this piece. Love it as much for the grass and those clouds. Look at that. It's lovely. Last piece, and this is one I bid on. Obviously, I'm outbid. Let's see if I refresh it. Oh, it's up to $34. I still have a chance on this one. I can bid on it again. This is a super team family from a Challengers of the Unknown story. And again, this page rocks. This thing is unbelievable. I mean, here, I'll zoom back again just so you can look at the overall layout. I love the composition on this. I love the word balloons bopping around, crossing panels, over here, merging these two. But look at just from a blacks and whites standpoint, this is a masterful page. James Sherman, Jack Abel inks. I mean, I love this page. I mean, I seriously, I'm going to be bidding quite, a bit more on this one because I was stunned when I saw it. I really, really like this piece. This is, it's crazy. I mean, I'm looking at it now, I'm just blown away by how great this is. Look at the lighting on the on his hood there. It's just crazy. I'm looking at it. Can't believe it. Anyway, yes. So there you have it. Fine if somebody wants to compete with me for it, but I'm going to make somebody pay for it if they have to. Because look at it. Even this last panel is just so awesome. Anyway, so there you go. Those are my heritage picks for the day. Clean inking, says Mr. Easy Go Lucky, and Challengers is DC. I know it's DC, but it doesn't matter. Great art is great art, man. That thing is just unbelievable. So, yep. All right. So now the big clip from the EXP, the big announcement tomorrow. I won't spoil it for you. I'll let them spoil it in the clip. But as you know, the EXP every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. Nick Barucci on the Original Art Experience, selling art, promoting the hobby. Usually, sometimes bringing on a guest or two. But he always has a great show, and it's always fun and informative, and you get to buy art at the same time. So tune in tomorrow, 7 to 8. You're definitely going to want to because of whom he has on as his special guest. But I'll let Nick tell you all about that himself.
Hey everybody, this Friday, December 17th, the Original Art Experience at 7 p.m. Eastern, because I used to do 4 p.m. for blah, blah, blah. I'm boring people, so let's just get back into it. So we got some artwork, some of my favorite artists, and of an artist that we have not had in a long time, and 2 pages. Well, I'll get to them in a second. Plus, there are people who voted to make me cry with Crisis. So let's see how we go. All right, we've got Night Stalker 7 and 8. This is such a beautiful 2-page sequence by Ron Garney. It is gorgeous. Check it out. Then we're going to have a little bit of Weapon X, pure pencils by Garney. You've got Spider-Man and Captain America. We also will have Avengers Academy by Sean Chen and Scott Hanna. Oh, and then a little bit more Garney, inked by Bill Reinhold. This is Green Arrow 56. Now, we were talking about people who wanted me to cry. Here's another Crisis on Infinite Earths number 8 color guide. And it's got Green Lantern too. This is the page immediately following the last 2 pages that Tom and Marcus bought. Plus, we'll have commission cover art, Batman Spawn with Spawn, Lobo, Batman Beyond, Punchline, Harley Quinn, and Spider-Man. Matter of fact, let's do this like this so that they're facing off with each other. Then we'll have a little bit of Jim Starlin action going on, John Romita Jr. action going on, and the 2 pages I am really hoping no one buys. Batman, Curse of the Catwoman, Kieran Dwyer, pencils and inks. Check out how gorgeous this is. These 2 pages are out of this world. We've seen what some Kieran Dwyer pages are going for these days. These are fantastic, and, well, I'm putting them on the air. They're beautiful. I am kind of hoping they don't sell, but we'll see what Friday brings, right? Customer's always right, so we'll see where we go. So, this Friday, Amy's just like really...
I was reading.
You're mesmerized with it, right?
Yeah.
You guys should see the smile on her face. She really likes those 2 pages. They're great. So, this Friday, December 17th at 7 p.m., she just gave me a wow. I don't know if that was a good wow or a bad wow, but hit that thumbs up. And I'll see you Friday on the Original Art Experience.
Hey everyone. I just wanted to give you guys a quick message about tomorrow's art show. We're going to be featuring incredible original art featuring Kang the Conqueror in honor of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania coming out. I'm really excited to see the movie. I hear Jonathan Majors is incredible. Really can't wait to see it. I'm going to make sure that there are 5 giveaways. I'm not quite sure what they'll be yet, but I'll make sure they're good. So it's going to be very, very exciting. And there was something I was supposed to mention. Jim Starlin. Oh yeah, Jim Starlin's gonna be on the show, so you definitely don't want to miss it. Remember, it's tomorrow night on The Experience, 7 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see you then.
Jim Starlin on the EXP tomorrow. Now that's going to be a good show. I'm going to be tuning in for that one. And oh, my Starlin and garters. Thank you, Marcus. It's not big news. It's cosmic, says Jeff. Yes, exactly. 5 giveaways. Oh, my goodness. Boy, you're putting me to shame, Nick. And I can tell you, I just kind of glanced at my email while that was playing. Nick suggested that we do the Fat Jacks on Sunday, March 5th. And Nick, I can tell you that I am free on that day, but let me confirm with Maureen tomorrow just to make sure that there's nothing on there, and then we'll pick a time. So that probably should work. Sunday, March 5th will be the next Fat Jacks fundraising event on our channel. I need 5 giveaways tonight. Well, let's not do it tonight. How about we add in some giveaways next week? It'll be something to look forward to. I don't know what I've got. I've got a few more Dueling Dealers hats. So we've got that. But yes, Nick, I will let you know tomorrow. And we should probably talk about that other thing we were talking about too, just to see what can be worked out with that other thing. So now I can get along and move along and get this CAF update started. Now, what week was this from? Again, it was from the 6th through the 12th of February. And, actually, it was a decent week for dealers, but not a decent week for the auction houses. Kind of a switch from what we've been seeing of late. Dealers sold $343,000 in original art, which was up from $178,000 the week before. So, but 343 is average, right? And it's weird because the top selling item was $110,000, and if that one wasn't in there, what would they be at? They'd be at $240,000 for the week. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see a few down weeks from dealers. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but Mike and Anthony were traveling, and speaking of that, the reason I threw those those Disney pictures in at the beginning of Anthony and Sharon was just because I was trying to make it so that those people who were coming out would actually be able to enjoy their time here in Florida. So, and Anthony and Sharon did just that. They took in Disney, they stayed at the park, and when we do the show or whatever we're going to be doing in February of 2024, that's kind of what I'm hoping people will want to do. Come out, see the show, spend a day or two at the park, and make a little mini vacation out of it. So that was always the plan. But anyways, dealers, 343,000. Let's see, top seller, thanks to his $110,000 artwork sale, was Panel Page. Glenn sold $122,000 worth of art from 8 sales. Then Berkey was next, 7 sales, $106,000. Albert Moy third, 10 sales, $37,000. Anthony had 52 sales, $23,000. Felix had 7 sales for 19, and Quan was the only other person with over 10,000 in sales. He had 4 sales, just over $12,000 in overall sales. So the top 6 sales from dealers last week. First was the big one, the Frank Frazetta Fire and Ice painting from 1981. We've all seen this image. We know it very well. Sold for $110,000 from Panel Page. Congrats to Glenn and probably whomever the consignor was on that. It's a gorgeous piece. Whoever has picked that up is probably very thrilled. And then Mike sold this one, Wally Wood cover to Tales from the Crypt 27. This one sold for the asking price of $100,000. So wow, you take those 2 sales out, and now we only have 133,000 in sales. What a week, everybody. Okay, this one is Albert Moysale, Bill Sienkiewicz, Transformers issue 67. Went for the asking price of $18,500. Then from Felix, you've got this Bizarro Comics page 1 by Paul Pope, the amazing Paul Pope. God, his art's great, isn't it? This one sold for $17,500. Then we've got a Dick Sprang Batman and Robin piece sold by Albert Moy. You can see his logo on there. Can't miss it. $10,000 for that one. And finally, another piece sold by Glenn. This one sold for $9,500 by Frank Miller. This was from Sin City, Hell and Back, issue 4, page 12. A beauty. And it's funny, so I had a lot of cars out in the yard the other day, and I walked over to the mailbox today, and the guy across the street was taking his trash out or something like that. So so we're talking. He's like, big party this weekend, huh? And I said, yeah, a bunch of comic book guys. We collect art, and he actually told me that he's always collected those the vinyl records that people that are printed and have printed stuff on them. But he goes, I know my comics. He said 300 was based on a comic, wasn't it? And I said, yeah, it was by Frank Miller. He's awesome. So just seeing that Frank Miller thing there. And he was like, yeah, I've heard of Frank Miller. I mean, and this guy, he has a couple horses in his front yard, and his house is so far set back I can't even see it. But he knows Frank Miller. So small world, right? All right, moving right along. Auction results. Very, kind of mediocre, $302,000. eBay made up $133,000 of that. And the Heritage auction, they only reached $170,000 in sales. I mean, they were double that last week. So, I guess we didn't have any major pieces in this auction. But let me go ahead and show the top 3 eBay sales and the top 3 Heritage sales from last week's weekly auctions. First up, of course, is a Mark Bagley John Dell Amazing Spider-Man cover. This one sold for $2,999 and actually 95 cents as well. Congrats to the buyer on this one. It's really nice, actually. I like the composition on this one. And then I think I know who got this one. This was a Barry Windsor Smith Rune 4-page. I think it was there when they bought it over the interwebs. Sold. I don't think it sold for $2,600, but that's what it's listed at. Next up, we got a Kurt Schaffenberger Alfredo Alcala World of Smallville Splash, written by John Byrne. Sold for $2,200. Then, hey, another one of these Ed Hannigan, L. Milgram Spectacular Spidey pieces is out there. Of course, this is one we highlighted the last week as well. $11,400 on this one, deservedly so. And there is a new one in the current auction. Then you have this Starlin Milgram Marvel Fanfare 21-page, went for $6,600. I think my friend in the green room might like that page. And finally, this John Romita Jr. Al Williamson Spider-Man 67 semi-splash page, I guess you might want to call that, sold for $4,800. Very, very nicely done. So there you have it. That's the auction and dealer recap. This is Sparta, Florida. yeah. The guy, he's ex-military or something too, so that maybe that's why he liked 300. I don't know. Yes, and Rick Welch said James S. posted the Barry Windsor Smith today. He picked that up during the Super Bowl. Everybody, yeah, we were looking at it together, and I was like, yeah, that's a really, really nice Barry Windsor Smith. I mean, it's Rune, but the classic Windsor Smith styling on it. I mean, I loved it. So congrats to James for picking that up. And I would agree, Noel, that JR Spidey did go a little cheap. As very nice, but you just never know. I mean, is it the economy? Is that why we're seeing little dips? And who knows? You can't really tell until I don't know, probably till midsummer. We can see kind of where things are at and whether or not people are tightening their belts. Who knows? I'm not even going to speculate anymore. But you know what? I need to bring the gentleman in the green room in, Mr. Chris Snorek.
How we doing?
Doing well. What are you drinking tonight, Chris?
Water.
What?
Yeah.
You must have to work early tomorrow.
Yeah, I have 3 meetings in the morning, rapid fire. So yeah, I'm taking her easy. All
right. Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Sorry for not doing last week. It was just a little crazy, and now we're running late. I was thinking we could cram everything in, but let's do this week's stuff, and then we'll see if we feel like we have the energy for an extra round. The links are out there. What's that?
We can fly.
We can fly. I'm happy doing it. But sorry you weren't here this weekend. We missed you.
I wanted to come, and if I had my druthers, I would have been there. It looked like a lot of fun.
It was a very good time. Yeah,
outside of ML being there, I'm sure it was a blast.
If Aranga would have damaged his car, his rental, and lost some art in the process. So I guess it was up to the doors. I really have to drive. I want to see the skid marks going right into the murky mud.
I can't believe he was able to get it out.
Yeah, he backed up. I think they just freaked out, backed out really quick, and then checked the GPS and realized they were driving the wrong way on the road. But it's amazing that he could get to 60 there, because it does kind of like snake a little bit and then goes, but then it's just a straight shot down into the water. There's a house. There's literally a house right there. So, oh boy. But yeah, no art was harmed. But yes, you were missed. Many people were missed, but you in particular, Chris, because I know you would have enjoyed it.
I appreciate that.
All right. Well, let's see our picks for the week. And I think I've got to pull your screen up here. Now, this is from this week, everybody. Chris and I will try to get through all of our picks from the last week as well, because they were very, very deserving. And we'll just kind of play it by ear to see what we can do here. Now, all right, got that. Okay, sorry, I guess I had to move things around, but we're good now. All right, so this was actually in Dustin Jones' calf gallery, Dustin J, and very, very nicely done. Josh Hood piece.
Love the perspective on this. I wasn't familiar with the artist, which is cool too. But the worm's eye view, when you don't realize at first what you're looking at, and then you kind of like put the scene together in your brain. But Batman is, hiding in those rafters, and he's ready to drop down on these paramilitary dudes that are in the foreground there.
I thought only Wolverine could do that move, but boy, and he's wounded too.
Yeah, the little plip of blood on the guy's rifle is cool too.
No, this is really nice. And I'm not familiar with Josh Hood either. So Batman Year One. Picked it up from Jeff M. or Jeff Mart, Jeff M. Art Sales, jeffmart.com. Cool. Well, I'll have to check that out. And I'm not familiar, but I know that they rep like 5 or 6 artists, and Jeff reps Sean Gordon Murphy too. So very cool. Well, nice pickup, Dustin. I like it too. I mean, I was thrown initially by the perspective on it too. I wasn't quite sure, and then it took me a while to realize he was up in the rafters too. But yeah, I mean, lots of great detail. The wood grain.
Cool textures all over it. Yeah,
you could have just omitted that, and it still would have been a really interesting piece. So adding that in there just gives you the full Monty on it. So let's see here. We got a Dylan Dog piece. This is in Mario Giorno's calf gallery. Remember, since 2009. Now this is interesting. I like it.
So what I loved about this was it's an actual lighting effect, right? It's from a hanging light that's in the scene, but the way that he lit just the bat, I think, is really eerie and cool. And then the kind of like raying out effect that he put on the tile as you go away from the light, I think is really effective too. So I kind of like this because it was just like a little kind of like microcosm, just an itty bitty scene, like one panel from the book. But just really effective. It almost reminded me of like a book plate from like a Stephen King book or something.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's I love the lighting. I love the really loose ink work done here. I mean, it's really striking. It's when I saw it now, let me swing over here. So from Dylan Dog, Massimo Carnevale. So it is a panel from Well, it's very nice, very, very nice. I'm curious if is this the way they work a lot, or if it's
I don't think so. I get the impression that this was maybe a cutout, or it was used for a patch, or I mean, honestly, with how loose this is, I could even see this maybe being like a prelim of some kind, but I don't know.
Right. Interesting. Okay. I just have to comment. I saw Marcus in the chat said there were actually 3 skid marks in the car. Yes, there probably were. And Matt Kennedy said, no dead end signage. No, I'm going to have to go down there and take a picture just so everybody can see it. The only sign that I know of that's down there, because typically, I drive that way to go into town, and about, say, 500 feet from the water, it was where I would turn right. So I don't think there is, and I've walked it many times to the water's edge, and I've never seen a sign that says dead end or anything there. The only sign that is right at the water's edge tells you to watch out for alligators and poisonous snakes. That's all it
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
No dead end, water approaching, anything. So, yeah. But anyway, back to the art. Dylan Dog panel, very nice. Congrats to Mario for that one.
And Marcus is joking, but Marcus, I think Tex is like one of the best illustrated books going. There's a lot of great Italian artists that have worked on Tex. I've picked Tex in the past.
You have actually. That's
and
true.
Zagor.
Sorry.
I like Italian comics.
I love the art in those books as well. So this is oh, that's funny. All right. Now, interesting piece. Ben Tolman is the artist on this one, and this is in Michael's calf gallery. I mean, whew, man, look at the detail on this thing. So this is in NSN's calf gallery, and wow, look at this piece.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's obvious why I picked it. I mean, it's kind of an exercise in insanity on some level.
Yeah.
But it has like, it's definitely like shades of Darrow, right? And particularly in the level of detail. But what I love about this is like, whereas Darrow would pack this thing with figures and there'd be like dogs peeing on stuff and like whatever, it's more sparse. So when you do like take the time to look at like what's so there's my favorite example on the wall where it says now, those people are disrobing and walking into that wall, and it's being like guarded by two men in black.
Yeah,
I think like there's so much cool stuff going on in this image.
Yeah, no, I mean, it has a very Escher feel to it, at least in the way the line work's done. I mean, it's cool. And then you get that staircase too. I mean, I think he's definitely riffing on a lot of different things, but yeah, I agree. There's some obscene things going on in this artwork, but it is really, really nicely done. Gosh. Yeah.
The level of execution is through the roof here.
Oh, God. So I didn't even notice the whatever we would consider that creature with the blood dripping off of his hand.
Right.
But yes, NSN comes up with he has a really great art collection, very eclectic in its originality, that's for sure. But Ben Tolman. So are you familiar with Ben Tolman?
I was not. I actually did a little research after I saw this piece, though.
Huh. Okay. There's actually 15 pieces on calf by them. Are they all in NSN's calf gallery?
I don't think so. No.
I think there's one in somebody else.
I think he commented that this. I could be wrong, but I thought he commented that this was his first one.
No. Well, yeah. Well, if I did a search, I do see a couple other pieces by in his calf gallery.
Okay. All right.
But I do see a few in other people's galleries as well. So cool. Very, very nice. Very different. Not something we'd see on calf too often. Now over to Jordan.
14 or 15 are his.
This piece was commented on by Marcus. 14 of the 15 are. Oh, there you go. Okay, I wasn't looking that close. 14 out of the 15. Congrats to you.
That's a great piece, man.
Yes. So now, what do we got here? Who's the artist here? Oh, Bisley. Of course. How can I? It's funny, I mean, it's almost so too clean to be Bisley, but
yeah, and that's I think that's why I picked it. I mean, this is
wow.
I'm going to use the word technical for Bisley. I mean, this is very technical. It's very clean. It's very orderly. It's very tightly rendered in spots, particularly Deathstroke. There's some wild stuff going on here too, like the dude that he's the skeleton figure or whatever, like that's more maybe prototypical Bisley, like the background cape thing is very Bisley, but yeah, like exercising some like draftsmanship here.
Right. I mean, when you look at the way the figure's drawn, the tight colors, I mean, that's like a Bianchi or something, kind of like pose and color choice, and I mean, and the definition in the figure. I mean,
right.
When I first saw this, I did not think Bisley at all. I mean, but now I see it. But initially, it didn't scream Bisley to me. So this is a really interesting piece. Huh. Wow. And I'm curious. Well, I'll have to go back and read it, see what Jordan wrote up about it. But congrats to Jordan on his pickup. What did Marcus say about it? He was the first one. Issue 1 has to make a statement. He says, and none more bigger and bolder than a Bisley painting. Totally gives Slade and this series immediate credibility with the dynamic barbarian pose after the straight up murder of these zombies. That is so true, Marcus.
Go Marcus.
Well,
he should be in his chair.
He should be. We'll just read his comments, and it'll almost be like
so easy. We'll just do this. We'll read Marcus's comments and call it a day.
But no, good pick. Because I would have honestly, I would have looked this one over. I had no idea it was Bisley at all. But all right, so over to Matthew Peace. Now this one, I would never have guessed this was Travis initially at first look. When I first saw this piece,
The face, though.
I know, but when I first saw it, I didn't look at the face. I'm just so taken by the stark color on it. It's almost like an animation cell,
Yeah, and
Barbera or something, right?
Totally, and that's truly why I picked it. I thought the color effect was so cool on the costume that it just like, I don't know, it's so pure, it like jumps out at you. I just think it's like incredibly cool, and like when you kind of drop those colors, the way they like just stand out versus the more tightly rendered aspects of the figure, I think it's just so cool.
It is, and again, that's why initially I'm like, "What am I looking at?" And then when you see the detail in the hands and the face, it's like it makes the piece. But it is such a really unique way to have colored it.
It looks like to your point, it looks like a color form or like a cell.
Right. Yeah, just like an animation cell. I mean, that's initially when I pulled it up, that was what I thought it was. And I'm like, why is Chris picking a animation cell? And then I'm like, oh, shoot, this is Travis.
First I pick a digital piece and now an animation cell.
Right, exactly. Is it for sale too? I know. But no, I mean, this is really, really nice. And I didn't see this one until you sent me the link to it. So I'm glad. I like it. I mean, it's definitely worthy of us showing off tonight. A paper doll, says Matt Kennedy. Yeah, it could be like that too.
Bravenek said it's kind of got a Noto feel to it too. I agree, and particularly the pose.
Without question. Yeah, Noto's Noto's always he kind of always has like a stiff kind of feel to his figures, but they're not stiff. But they look. It's just the pose. It's I like his style, even though it has that kind of stiff feel to it or appearance. But very, very good. Is it digital? Says Marcus. No. It's not a 1 of 1. All right, nice one here, Matthew P. Congrats on that one. Then going over to Mr. Greg Goldstein's Calf Gallery, and we've got a John Buscema pencils. I don't know. Do we know who inked it? No. Okay. So, but it's
somebody in the audience, I'm guessing.
Somebody in the audience will tell us. Yes, Avengers 44.
I just thought this was such an awesome, like, all-out action page, and like I love Captain America, and the fact that he's thrown down with Red Guardian in that first panel is awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's just perfect from the era.
It is. It's really nice. I wouldn't mind owning this as well. So somebody in the chat will have to tell us who inked this one. But yeah, no, it's great. That second panel is cool. Even though there's very little Hawkeye in it, the Bacow and just the explosion in front of him, the lighting on the character, the whatever's breaking up around him, it's just really of the era. It's really nicely done.
Yep.
All right. So moving over to the next one, Carlo O, and this is, let's see, Claudio Castellini and Paul Neary, Marvel versus DC page. Who's going to win this battle?
Darkseid, no question. Sorry. So I'm a huge Claudio Castellini mark. This is kind of, I think, where he garnered a lot of his attention in America early on was this big crossover series. He draws such like incredibly powerful figures, and he's clearly coming from, the 60s Marvel school, but kind of like bringing it up to date when he's doing it. So it's it's a little more technical looking. It's a little slashier. Yeah, I mean, for me, he is all about how he draws these figures. Like, look how gunned up Cap is there. Like how he's basically he has like wings underneath his arms. He's so wide.
Right.
But he's drawing characters that like require this kind of too, because I think that's Bane on the bottom right. So you got like these two thick boys with Thanos and Darkseid in the middle, and you got Bane on the bottom there. So just kind of an excuse for him to like stretch his limbs a little bit artistically with figure drawing.
Yeah, I mean, I love the perspective. You get that giant hand off Bane there. I mean, it's nice. You got the shield coming at you. I mean, the panel layout's kind of interesting too. So yeah, nicely done. Nicely done. Congrats to Carlo on that one. Now, next, what do we got here? In Matthew Reed's Calf Gallery. I mean, this one was striking. I would have picked this one if you didn't pick it. We've got a piece by Tony Moore from The Crate, which was in Creepshow, right? So this is so, look at this thing, man. The detail on this thing is stunning.
I mean, it's actually, in a lot of ways, it's incredibly realistic.
Yeah.
The chains in particular, I mean, like they're like photographic realism on those chains. He's even putting like the welds on the links where they put the links together. Just little stuff like that. And like every individually rendered hair on the creature, you know, the wood grain. And like my favorite thing about the whole deal, I mean, to say what you will about the level of details off the charts, but my favorite thing about the whole piece is the palette.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting choice, right? I mean, kind of a blue and a red like that.
Yeah, like a teal and magenta. He's kind of like, he's not even really into like red and blue. He's like kind of like off each direction from red and blue.
But the thing is with the lighting, the red is the light source. I mean, it's it's so cool. I mean, here I want to go back to just looking at the image as best we can. Just that alone. I mean, I love like the shadow here on the box. It's oh man, it's just amazing. Look, you even get the shadow right there because of the lip. I mean, the way he's done this is it's brilliant. I love this piece to death.
Yeah, this thing it's a feat. I mean, it's a feat of composition. It's a technical feat. I mean, this thing, it's amazing. This is beautiful.
Yeah, wow. I mean,
yeah, Haj is right too. It does have an Art Adams feel. It's like kind of at that level of like noodling.
I agree. Best story in the movie says, yeah, this is great. Really, 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 really nice. So Matthew Reed, yeah, this one it's only got 6 comments on it. Everybody should go in there and leave some comments on this piece because, yeah, this was in my list as well. So I'm glad one of us got to talk about it because it is stunning. Dang it, I love it. Next up, what do we got here from Kareem El Rafe? We've got a Rags Morales and Mike Bear Hawkman page. Let's take a look at that. What a good team here.
Yeah, I think everybody probably knows by now. I'm a sucker for like big team action shots. I was always a big team book fan when I collected comics, and Bear and Morales on this book when they were I was reading this when they were the art team on the title. There were so many home runs by these two. I mean, they don't seem at first like they would be suited to the kind of like golden agey characters, but like when you look at this, it's just there's no question that these are the right guys to be drawing this book. I mean, particularly like the stuff that they do with the Hawks.
That's
the
what
textures,
I was looking at.
Yeah, the textures that are on the Hawks and like facial expressions. I mean, it's just all spot on. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Bear's just an amazing inker. He can kind of. I mean, look at so many different stylistic things that are going on here. It's just with the way he's handling some of the lighting on this character. That's really in the dark. This splash of fire, and then like you said, to the way he's rendering the Hawks. I mean, this is just it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And this would be a piece that you think that students of the medium should be studying at the Q-Word school, right? They should be looking at this and just seeing all the technical work that's gone into this to make it feel realistic. I mean, the wings are, like just up here where he's just kind of feathering it like that. It really makes it feel like feathers. I mean, it's just amazing. And I
you have to admire the way that he wedges the figures together. I mean, like everything has its own spot in space, which is such a tricky thing to do when you're like have these like layered compositions like this, because when you move left to right, everything does have a feeling of depth, which is incredibly difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's gorgeous. Wow. I like it a lot. Love it. Love that one a lot. I gotta have Michael on here sometime, right? I mean, he would be interesting to chat with. But no, great pick there, and congrats to Kareem for that pick. Purchase, I'm sorry. And over to FM from Belgium. Wrote a lot here. I did not read any of it, but we've got a Birdman piece. And leave a like on there. This is by Steve Rude. What is it from? Future Quest Presents 7.
Yeah, so Future Quest was DC kind of like bringing in the Hanna-Barbera characters and like treating them in a more, I guess, serious or legitimate fashion kind of act for, these guys had their stint on like Adult Swim, and that's probably where most people know Birdman from, certainly, versus the, the 60s show. But we've had, I kind of haven't thought about this because we have had Steve Rude on quite a bit recently, but there's just been so much good Steve Rude artwork posted. And the reason that I picked this was because it has a lot of like non-typical Steve Rude elements to it. Like a lot of the inking technique here is not stuff that I would normally associate with him. It's got a lot of like, more stippling or like shading that I don't typically associate with him. To me, he normally seems more graphic. And for him to apply that to characters which are by their very nature more graphic themselves because they come from animation. And most of them were designed by Toth and things like that. So they do have all these like clean lines and like super simple but effective designs. I just thought it was a cool I don't want to say update, but almost like a cool stylistic change for the character that Steve Rude like pulled off so effectively.
No, I love it. This piece kind of stood out to me when I was going through last week's post as well. I wouldn't have picked it, but it was one that I looked at because it just and we're so used to the Steve being a master of color, right, too. And then this one's all in gray tones and ink washes and
the gradients are so like, particularly like on Birdman's chest and that central piece there, like the gradients he's got are just unreal.
Yeah. Well, it's and I love the transition here at the bottom. I mean, it's a really, really nicely done piece. I'll have to leave this one open to read through here because he's mentioning, I must confess, I wasn't that familiar with the Hanna-Barbera superheroes outside of Rude Space Ghost. So, and one shot from Kamiko. Cool. I will look that one over afterwards. But congrats to them for picking that one up. And now we already looked at the Batman. All right, so we got all 10 in.
We did it.
Okay, so let's
a blistering 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's we can't.
I know.
We can't talk fast about this stuff, but mine are all kind of easy ones, so maybe we can get through mine a little faster. Let's see here. Hide that one. All right. So this one is in Bill J's calf gallery. I mean, I'm a sucker for Gene Colan, and then you get a cover on top of everything else. I mean, this is such a classic image, and I just had to go with it. I mean, look at that thing.
Killer pose, killer perspective.
Yeah, I mean that cape.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I mean Colan. This is what Colan was born to draw. These sorts of things. I mean, and I don't know, man. I just love it. So when I saw it, I was just like, yeah, I can't pass it up. So, and this is like, I think I've told everybody, it's like Severin, Doctor Strange, was always kind of like my kind of gateway into reading comics from my uncles. And I really, so when I see something from that era, I really love it. And so I had to go with this one. So, Bill J's got one hell of a calf gallery as well. But this just adds another feather in his cap, making his cap gallery all the better.
Gorgeous, significant too. I mean, like just a really outstanding image.
Definitely. I'm curious about that stat. I mean, it's like I guess it looks like they must have drawn that part of the cape onto the stat, and so all this was the first one I looked at. I was like, is that transparent? But no, they definitely redrew onto the stat to put this stuff on here. But anyways, great. I always love this logo. But look at that. I want a font like that I can use for
it's out there.
I love that. Oh man. All right. So next up, then this is in Fish's calf gallery, right? Wasn't it? Double check that. Yes, Fish pens. And Todd McFarlane. What more can you say? You get this wonderful, I mean, just love the action. love how he's broken up these 4 panels here at the bottom. I mean, with Wolverine's claws just helping kind of divvy up the space in a really unique way as well. You know, and it's all kind of classic McFarlane kind of layouts with those things. But I just really like this one. I love this first panel. You know, he's not leaving anything. No, there's like no white spaces in here. He throws the action lines in here. The breaking, you know, the broken wood or whatever he's slamming him into. I mean, it looks like he's choking him right there. You know, everything about this looks
it's tense.
Cool. Yeah, and I love it, and I love the heavy black. I mean, McFarlane did a lot of, you know, interesting panel layout stuff, so I love how he's kind of, you know, used that black element to kind of just add a sense of foreboding and anger and rage and darkness, and, you know, really it's just nicely done. I want to zoom out from this too, just because
the solo Spidey book was dark.
It was.
I mean, I think a lot of people, I mean, it's been a long time since a lot of us have probably read it, but yeah, it was pretty intense.
I'm a moody little cuss. I promise you don't want reason 3. I love it. I mean, it's just such a great page. So congrats to Fish, man. And of course, Fish has just a stellar calf gallery as well.
No pun intended.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, great page here. Very envious of that. I mean, I'm not a big McFarlane fan, but I would own this page. And not just because Wolverine's in it. I mean, that could be Venom doing this. It's just a really, really tight, beautiful page.
That top panels is money in the bank. I mean, that makes the whole page.
Fish says it's pretty okay. Yeah. Damn. Mm-hmm.
You're pretty okay yourself, Fish.
Oh boy. All right. So another Marvel cover. I just had to pick this one too. I'm sorry, everybody, but I'm a sucker for Dave Cockrum. Everybody knows that. And so it's Iron Fist number 9. I just, you know, again, just for me, this is about the era when I was really buying stuff off the shelf for the first time. I was about, you know, 9 years old, and I love Marvel during this period. I just love these kind of covers. So, you know, I'm sure I probably never even read this issue before, but again, it's Cockrum, perfect era for me. And who was the inker on it? No, Danny Crespi. So, you know, I mean, nothing spectacular about it, but for me, that's my nostalgia pick on it. I really like this piece. And we need more covers.
Got a sweet spot, right?
And it's in Dino's calf gallery.
Oh,
another gentleman who has a wonderful gallery on calf. I forgot this was Dino's.
You and Dino have a lot of the same. You have a lot of overlap in your love of this era.
Yeah, you know, and what Dino and I just found, we're the same age too. That's funny. We're both born in '68. So I mean, so it stands to reason. Yeah, it's like every time anything he puts into his calf gallery, I have a strong affinity for. So congrats, Dino! Another beautiful addition to your calf. All right, so Graham Ingles on a Fear cover over here, just cool stuff. I mean, I love this one. The lighting on it's fun. Just the heavy inking. In a weird way, I look at it and think, did they not know when to stop because they just kept going? I mean, you could have done this cover in so many different ways, right? But because I look at it too, and I'm thinking maybe it would have been better to have a few more highlights on this. This hand reaching up, but hey, whatever. This was an experimental time for comics, right? I guess, but I love it. I love the pitch on the building. It has a little, I guess you could think of it like like a Wrightson kind of feel to it, but not. I mean, but I love all the rendering going on in this. It's just in the background, the wood.
I think if I had a criticism of the EC stuff from this period, it would be that it tends to be overwrought.
Yeah.
But that's the vibe too. I mean that they wanted it, busy and sketchy and packed with detail.
Wow. See, they did it in the coloring. Look at that. I mean, I didn't even look at the color piece before that, but that does it, right? You don't get that with the art piece, but again, they knew how they were going to print it, probably what kind of colors they were going to use. So it's one of the rare times it's like, I really like the color piece. Dang. That's nice. It really is nice. I even like the pink.
It works.
It does work. It really does. Dang. the bent stovepipe is a cool touch. It is. I mean, yeah, very nicely done. So let's see. So we got Graham Angles. Who's calf gallery? Oh, Glenn. Glenn Crane has. Well, we all know Glenn's calf gallery. And those of you who went to Columbus were lucky enough to meet him when he was there. So yeah, just amazing piece here. So
I'd say blue chip gallery.
Definitely. I had to pick a Bruce Timm. I mean, I don't know. I haven't picked a lot of Bruce Timm, I guess, of late. But I thought this. I love this one just for the colors. I love the green against the purple. So it just is a striking image. I mean, it looked great as a thumbnail. This is an AMR's calf gallery. It's just nice. I mean, Tim doing some painterly stuff here in the background with the Joker face and the skyline, just made for kind of a fun image. Show it as a printed? No. So this is one where they didn't upload one. But yeah, I just liked it. I mean, I can be a Marvel guy and still appreciate a work of art like this one. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, this is a very familiar image. I mean, they sold a lot of DVDs for this. It was like a direct-to-video movie that they did, and actually, my little brother had this poster on his wall that I brought back for him from the comic book store when I worked there. So I spent a lot of time looking at this image in my day.
Well, there you go. And Rich Danny's has a buddy that storyboarded on that film.
I think like Darwin Cook worked on this quite a bit.
Huh. Very nice. Well, Rich knows a lot of people in the animation biz. So nice to have you watching the show tonight, Rich. But yeah, very, very great piece. And congrats to AMR adding that one to their calf. Now, this one is in Ian Saint's calf gallery, a Jack Sparling Ken Fitch piece. Now, kind of similar, I guess, to the Angles piece, but this one I really liked the composition in the two panels and that space that they kind of used without boxing it in for the lettering in there, where it's but during the last trip from Zell to the mothership. But I really like the detail in both of these. I love the silhouette characters going up into the spaceships. Just as again, back to a work of art and the composition on this page. I was very enamored by it, and then I was like, Ian bought this? Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a perspective on what Ian normally cuts, but I saw that, I'm thinking, well, this is probably out of Ian's comfort zone, or at least I would think it is, and it's cool to see. It's like sometimes art just speaks to you, right? And I didn't read a description or anything, but I'm feeling like that must have been the vibe. And really nice piece here.
Yeah, it's like a pre-Star Wars spaceship dogfight.
Right, exactly. So great piece. And oh my gosh, he's got I didn't even scroll down to see that. Look, he's got a video embedded in here. I love it when people do that. All right. Well, congrats, Ian, for this big up.
Very cool.
I'm losing my voice. Where's my water when I need one? Moving right along. Mike Diodato Jr. This is in David Ascani's calf gallery. I just loved all the detail. I love the composition of this one.
Yeah.
Love the Venom, lettering up in there. I mean, it's a cover. It's funny, after seeing all those Adam Kubert pieces, a lot of those he was hand drawing the logos on those as well. He just felt like it. I don't know, for him, he said something about it just helped him with the composition better when he knew that the logo was going to be how he drew it.
Where he put it, sure.
Exactly. And so it reminded me of this when I saw it. Okay, I'm going to pick this one too, because I love it. I mean, it's at an angle, it's like going in and then over. Just fun, and just a grossly, gigantic bodied, Venom.
Right.
Well, shouldn't this be nicely round? Well, we don't need it to be nicely round. It feels weirder when, the tunnel is all distorted and stuff. So
yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about, and I think one of the reasons why artists like to draw Venom, it's the same reason that artists like to draw Swamp Thing and Man Thing and whatever, because you get to distort things, right? You get to have fun with things like, the tunnel is not perfectly round, and that's cool because like Venom brings this like kind of element of like visual distortion or in the figure, and so why not, go a little crazy with what else is going on the cover too.
Yeah, no, I love it. Even though
I think this is peak, in my opinion, this is peak Diodato too. I think that this is right when he was like firing on all 8 cylinders.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this cover. Just the more I'm looking at it, I love the line work and the bricks, that are lit going in. I mean, that's really nicely done. And the Venom dripping logo. I mean,
Mhm.
it is really, really nice.
Is there a color?
There is. Let's see.
I'm just curious what color they chose for the logo.
Yeah, it
Oh.
stands out.
Well, they did kind of a greenish hue in the tunnel, so yeah, that works.
Yeah. But yeah, love the art on this thing. This is great. So David, congrats on adding this one to your collection. It's really nice. See, I got 3 more to go here. So Frank Bruner piece, the Monster Times magazine. I mean, I have no idea. This is centerfold poster art, but
My subscription lapsed.
Yeah. Let's see what year. Okay, 1975. I didn't think to look at that, but I don't know. I've always liked Bruner, and we always think of Doctor Strange or I don't know, Man Thing or something. But so I just thought it was fun to see a piece by him that is almost like way out of the norm. Like a fanzine type of art. Although I'm sure whatever the Monster Times is, it was, on the newsstands and everything. But I just thought it was fun. It's fun to see something that isn't what you normally expect out of an artist. So I love the figure work here. I thought they're exquisite. The dinosaur is a little maybe not as awesome, but I do love the figure work here. I love the composition of this piece a lot. So very, I think it's a nice pick.
Where I think we're kind of spoiled for artists drawing dinosaurs now, because the way that we I don't know, imagine dinosaurs now has been so heavily influenced by Jurassic Park and things like that, this is more the Gwangi or, stop motion kind of era dinosaurs that were, I guess more thought of or prevalent back then. So yeah, they're a little smoother looking and kind of I don't know, more monstery and less lizard like. But yeah, I think the whole thing is really cool.
It is. And Tim Finn says his last name rhymes with Runner, so not Bruner, but Brunner. Okay.
Oh, I've said Brunner my entire life.
I've always said Bruner myself. So, but hey, that's I don't mind being corrected on that one. But I'll probably still say Bruner the next time I see it. But anyways, yeah, cool piece. I mean, I'm looking at it now. I'm actually not. The dinosaurs don't bother me as much as I thought they did earlier. Now that I'm seeing it. It's cool. I mean, early stuff like this is it's neat to see in a artist's kind of growth. And wait, here, and who said that? Where was it? Rich said it was a tabloid magazine, and he has the first 4 issues. So very, very interesting. Has a Mark Schultz vibe. Yep, I would agree with you on that one, Rich. Cohen, no Marcus. Oh, but there you go. Kazra says the distance between this and Howard the Duck is crazy. Very true. All right, what do we got here? I got 2 more to go. I've got Borja Gonzalez, not somebody I was familiar with. This is in Mark V's Calf Gallery. We mentioned Mark V earlier as somebody who was in that photo that Marcus had. This is like a cross between P. Craig Russell and Mike Mignola or something. I mean, it's
really cool.
It's really, really cool. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, damn, I like it. I mean, there's a Pikachu on her shirt. That's weird. I mean, the poses in the figure, the style of the anatomy. I mean, clearly, they're doing their own thing, right? And I just love the shapes of. I'm assuming these are trees or something. But look at that. I mean, I love it. It's really, really unique. And I didn't try to see if there was other art on Calf by this artist, but I was really just taken by this imagery. I like it a lot, and and again, you look at the inking work going in here. I mean, that's a lot of work, a lot of detail.
Those dropouts, yeah.
Rich
Cheney's made another good comment. There's a little Ted McKeever in here too.
That's very, very true. Very, very true. Yeah, no, I mean, I like. It's really interesting. Yeah, so I'm going to look now. I mean, I'm curious. Okay, what else is on here? On Calf.
Little Paul Pope, almost.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's see. Mark V, and then a Julio Vegas. So that's true. Because these other 2 pieces were posted by Mark. I kind of like this one too, but I like the piece I picked better. But this I thought was kind of interesting.
So clean.
Right. I mean, this is almost
Chris Ware.
Chris Ware. Yes, exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep.
So it's cool. I mean, he's kind of like moving his style based on, and it's not a dramatic shift from that other piece, really, at least in the way the inks are being laid down and everything. But yeah,
like Hernandez.
Definitely has a very versatile approach to their art. So I'm gonna have to like look them up because I think it's pretty cool. What was the third piece? Like, yeah, I didn't look at this one because I was just so taken by that first piece.
This is closer to the original one that you picked.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a nice piece too. Wow. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna have to learn a little bit about Borja Gonzalez.
Yeah, very cool.
Let's see. Oh, and then Bilquist Evely. Is that right? Bill, am I pronouncing that right? Or
that's what Felix says. So
is Bilquist as well? Okay.
Yeah.
Then it's got to be right if Felix says that. All right. So this is in Ben H's CAF Gallery, a Supergirl World of Tomorrow. I mean, I just was smitten by the line work on this thing. I mean, and even in just, you can just look right here, just in the clouds. I mean, there's just so much delicate work going on in here that I love it. And then when you go and look at the detail on the face and the hair, it's so well done. I mean, there's, I'm not again. You could say influence out there, but I just
got a Mobius feel to it.
Definitely got a Mobius feel to it. There's a little Barry Windsor Smith in it. But
the other thing that's cool is that typically we associate this pose being flipped.
True,
right?
Very true.
Right?
Yeah,
it's Superman cradling the Supergirl, and she's all wrapped up.
Yeah,
this is beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I should have looked at it more when I picked it. I was just like, nope, this is it. This is my 10th pick. But yeah, it is amazing. Doggone it. So, wow. Well, congrats to Ben on that one. And again, only 7 comments on this piece, everybody. When was it added? The 8th. Gosh, so it's been up there 8 days. It hasn't even gotten a comment a day. So remember,
I'm gonna say something outlandish and maybe seemingly a little bit brutish, but like, I think this is the best Bilquist piece I've ever seen.
I will put it up there. That's for sure.
I can't think of one I like better. I kind of just became a fan like just now. This is awesome.
Yeah, cool. Chris Lutz mentioned Frank
Booth.
There's definitely that, and even a little Nino, Rich mentioned. So, and even Redondo. I mean, there's a little bit of a lot of things going on here, but gosh, it's stunning. It really, really is stunning. So, wow! Congrats to Ben for picking that one up. I love it. Ooh. Supergirl is jacked, says Ricky Trapster. Yes, she is. Definitely. And thank you, Nick, for that one. But well, that's a good way to end. So we should end it. We shouldn't go for the other one. But listen, everybody, just so you know, if you go here, I'll put the link in there for you. For those of you who missed out on last week, I'll put the link to our picks from the week before. Put that into the chat so you can see. Chris put in a lot of work. These, they should never go unnoticed. That it takes a lot of effort to put these things together. But Chris's picks last week were fantastic. Mine were okay, but Chris did a great job. And so that link that I just put into the chat would take you over to the page on CAF to see what we picked. And I would, please do it. And I apologize to those people whose artworks we picked that we didn't get to.
I want to go see what you picked last week because I don't know. And there was one piece that I desperately wanted to pick. And I told myself, no way, because Bill will 110% pick this.
Do you remember what it was?
I'm going to go look and see if you picked it.
All right. Well, it's funny. I mean, I'm looking at it now. I'll actually show one of them, because one of them I picked. It was funny because remember the week before that I'd said I'd owned that Ian Churchill X-Men page, right? And when so here's my picks anyway. But the first piece in here, Andrew G. I used to own this Age of Apocalypse cover by Andy Kubert, And sure, it's like, doggone, you forget what it's like when you see pieces that you used to own. And it does, it hurts a little bit inside. So I'm going to show this one. Congrats, I didn't even put a like on it. But Andrew G, I love this cover, and but it's in a very good CAF gallery now. So, and the thing is, this is a period when I wasn't reading X-Men, but I loved the image so much that it made me like go back and kind of read the storyline, because I didn't know anything about it when I bought the cover. I just love the artwork on this thing. So, and look at that. He's torching the X-Men logo. I love that thing.
With his mind.
Exactly. So there you go. So that was one of my picks from last week. All right. Well, Chris, we did it again. We've had a wonderful set of picks, and we got to hang out for an hour, and it was a good time.
Yeah, man.
Just read Marcus's comments for the lowdown on last week's art. Okay. Well,
no, he's saying just read Marcus's comments.
Read them. Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is what we were advocating doing earlier.
Yes, exactly. There you go. You don't need to hear from us. Marcus says it better all the time.
Listen to somebody who knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Well, lost loves for Bill. Thank you, Marcus. Exactly. So we'll be at it again next week. I know that you've got some vacation time coming up. I haven't reached out to Kevin Sharp. I didn't see him in the chat either, but I was going to float to him that day that I know you can't make in March. It was like the middle of the month.
Yeah, I wish it was vacation. I'll be in Europe, but it'll be for work.
Wow, you'll be in Europe. I mean, at least when you're looking out the window, it might feel like vacation.
Germany is the Wisconsin of Europe. I mean that in the nicest way I can say it, but there's a reason that when the Germans were moving west, they saw Wisconsin and they were like, aha.
Okay, but they have good beer. Are you not going to be able to get out at all?
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. I'm saying I'm not going to Tahiti and I'm not going to have fun. So,
Oh boy. So you don't even get a day?
We'll do something fun, I'm sure. I'm not complaining. We'll go to a castle or something.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of those.
There's plenty of castles.
When I was in Germany with my son for a Pokemon thing, we went to like 2 castles, maybe a third one while we were there. That's the thing to do, right?
Yeah, because everything else we bombed flat a while ago.
That's true. We tried to leave some of those landmarks out there.
Yep.
Oh man. All right, Chris. Well, listen. I will see you next week.
Looking forward to it.
I'll try to get with some people to kind of fill out the couple days that you're not going to, because I'll probably pick up first Thursday of the month, then you'll be on, then I'll have somebody else on. I think that's how it'll work.
Yep.
That checks
out. Okay.
Okay. Well, have a wonderful weekend. And thanks.
You too. Night, everybody.
All right, everyone. Fantastic evening. We made it just under 3 hours. It's like, 10 seconds before we hit the 3-hour mark. But it was a good show. I hope you enjoyed all the video clips that we got. Wonderful flips. And so look forward to seeing the full flip from Rom tomorrow, 1 o'clock. And then at 3 o'clock, the full Cribs video from Matt Kennedy will drop as well. So, those will be out there tomorrow. Enjoy them. We don't have a show tomorrow, but we do have that big Klaus Janson art sale on Saturday. And again, there are 25 pieces of art in that. The only thing is that, I actually fawned over Klaus. He was at Heroes last year. I never met him before. And I just, told him, what a great amount of work he's put into the hobby. And I admire him a lot. And he was kind of like, yeah. Okay, cool. He didn't know who I was. I didn't introduce myself. But so now I'll get to do a proper interview with him on Saturday and hopefully sell some of the art for him. The prices, I believe, range from $200 to, the biggest piece was maybe $15. I think there was only one piece that was over $10. Most of the pieces are in that 1 to 2 to 2.5 range with probably about 5 or 6 pages under 1,000. So, I think I asked them to pick prices across the board and artwork across all generations of his period in comics. So that's what they did. So please tune in. It'll be a good show. Of course, don't forget to tune in to tomorrow night's show with Nick, because you get to see Jim Starlin in the flesh. That's going to be a interesting show, and I'll be tuning into that as well. So you'll see me in the chat over there. Have a wonderful weekend. And again, I do hope to see everybody on Saturday. And thanks again, as always, for being here with me.